What's up, everybody? It's been a few weeks. Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Dorkside. We're going to talk about Mortal Kombat. I'm sure you've seen the dumb new movie on HBO, or God forbid, the theaters. If that's the case, we're not just going to talk about that, though. Let's talk about all-encompassing Mortal Kombat. But yeah, we're going to talk about the movie. So obviously spoilers for that. I'd like to talk about the game as well, because you got to talk about the game if you want to talk about the movie. We're going to also have to talk about the other movies. Man. But we're going to have a panel of guests today. A group of fighters, if you will. What were we listening to? The original Mortal Kombat soundtrack from the game by Dan Forden. The old arcade game. We're going to have to talk about the lore, the history, all that stuff. We've already got Donovan with me. I think my buddy Max is joining too. If you want to come in, if you got something you want to say, just go ahead and leave a comment. Or join the stream with the link in the description. Let's go ahead and get Donovan's in here. What's up, Donovan?
Not a whole lot. What's happening?
Is this music really loud? I'm sorry. Let me turn it down. All right. What's up?
Not a whole lot. How about you?
Just chilling. Just got back from grandma's again. Taking her to a lot of doctor's appointments and stuff. She's that age where pretty much all she does is go to the doctor or that's it, go out to eat and stuff.
Or bingo.
Are you wearing a fake goatee?
No.
Jeez, that is thick, my man. Yeah. Okay. It looks like it's like markered on from the thumbnail. Nice. So you saw the movie, I'm sure. A lot of people saw the movie. Made a lot of money.
I did.
And you are a fan of Mortal Kombat, the game?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you think of the new movie?
It wasn't great.
I did not like it either.
I had some redemption qualities to it, but like as a whole, it wasn't great. I thought they did Sub-Zero really good. I thought they did Kano really good, and the little bit of Scorpion we got, I thought they did really good. But like Sonya, Jax, Liu Kang, there's Shang Tsung. I kind of felt the rest of them were forgettable.
I think the big thing is if you're familiar with the game and the lore and all that, like the more familiar you are with that, I think the less you're going to like this new movie. I enjoyed watching it. Don't get me wrong, but the whole time I was watching it, I was like, "This is so bad and stupid." And it was worse than King Kong versus Godzilla for sure. They were both dumb, but if I had to pick one to watch in the theaters, definitely the former. That was the other thing is this one had a lot of which is good to have, but a lot of moments that are like settling down, like parts where they're at a table eating and talking and shit like that. King Kong versus Godzilla, I feel like had like hardly any of that. That movie was like a million miles a minute, and it was really dumb and loud, but it wasn't like it didn't like destroy the other King Kong versus Godzilla movies or Mechagodzilla movies from the past,
If I could recast anyone in Mortal Kombat, I would have gotten Terry Crews to play Jax.
Yeah, Jax should have been not to body shame this guy, but bigger. Jax is like a heavy. Jax is like huge fucking dude, Shit like Shao Kahn size. Like he's a big guy. I feel another bad cast was Liu Kang. He was a little bit too again, not that this is a problem. It is a problem for Liu Kang to be really femmy looking, like kind of like almost like either boyish or girlish looking. Not, Robin Shou from the first Mortal Kombat movie and from Beverly Hills Ninja. He and Jason Scott Lee from the Jungle Book and stuff from the Bruce Lee movie. Those guys are like Chinese men. That's like an Asian man, It's like Jet Li. Jet Li seemed to have like this, like he could never age kind of quality to him. So he looked young, but not like in a boyish manner. But he didn't look like jacked or intimidating. Like Robin Shou actually is like he's a good looking like Asian dude. He's like fit and he's like young and he had the hair. He had that badass mullet.
There was some talks about him playing Shang Tsung in a reboot. I mean,
that would have been excellent.
That obviously didn't happen, but
this Shang Tsung was also horribly miscast. I get the guy. He was in Contagion and Batman Dark Knight. He was in those movies. He's great as like an intimidating bad guy or a henchman or a cold, calculating guy, businessman. But as Shang Tsung, I don't know. It's Shang Tsung needs to be like, I guess more attractive. I don't know what to say. Like, like the guy
compelling at least. That the problem with this Shang Tsung is he was very forgettable.
Yeah, and he wasn't like when what's the other guy's name? He's Japanese. He's Carrie something. He came back for the Mortal Kombat 11 to play Shang Tsung in the game.
Was this the original actor for Shang Tsung?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he looks fantastic in the game. Let me see here. Shang Tsung. His name is Carrie. Okay, let's see. Carrie Hiroyuki Tagawa. And he was in Rising Sun. He's in a fucking bunch of great movies. What else? He was in Showdown in Little Tokyo with Brandon Lee. But let's go ahead and share my screen here. I guess I'll pull it up here. He's like there's just something about like this charisma here, this stage presence here as like the evil bad guy that I feel like this other actor did not have. And here he is in the new game. And that's the other thing I liked about, I mean, we're obviously gonna have to talk about like the game, but in the game, like he's old at first. This is something the movies haven't done yet. He's supposed to be like like Big Trouble in Little China. There's Lo Pan, there's old Lo Pan, and then there's young Lo Pan. And I feel like, I feel like I might be frozen. Is that what happened?
The souls he gets, it like keeps him young.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember. I want to say Mortal Kombat 9. I mean, we're going to talk about the video games. Obviously we were all fans of the first 3, or I guess 5 or 6, if you want to count Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
You remember Sub-Zero? It came out on 64.
Yeah. Are you frozen, Donovan? Am I having issues here? Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm frozen.
Okay.
Looks like Sub-Zero reference there.
Yeah, it looks like your frame's frozen in my... Or am I freezing? That's what I don't know. No, you're back. Okay. Maybe it was a screen share. Sorry. Video games. I didn't play any of the Mortal Kombat games that came after, I guess, Mortal Kombat 4. So...
I've played 9 and 10 recently. I was not overly impressed with 9, to be honest. I mean, the graphics and some of the throwbacks were cool, but the gameplay just wasn't very smooth.
Yeah, 9 lacks in the actual fighting and gameplay compared to what 10 and 11 have done. But did you play 9 through story mode at all the way through?
I started, but like just the gameplay, I couldn't get into it as much. It wasn't as alluring.
Okay, well, I will say 9, the story mode is like the best Mortal Kombat movie I've seen. It's great. It basically breaks down the first 3 games in one all-encompassing story, but there's this like, it's a reboot, so there's like this time travel element where they're like changing little things. So it's not a straight remake. Basically, Raiden, tells himself in the past, like, to avoid Shao Kahn taking over in, I guess, Mortal Kombat 8, whatever the hell, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. That was, like, the big, stupid one they made where every character was there. And I guess after that, there was a little bit of a dead time. And then on PlayStation 3, they did Mortal Kombat 9. And that was basically a reboot of the first 3 games. But like there's little changes because Raiden's trying to like change the past to make it, because he was trying to avoid this. It's like a Terminator thing where you can't escape certain things, certain outcomes are improbable, but other things like for instance, what were some of the big ones? Like Sub-Zero is turned into a machine instead of Smoke and Sector and Cyrax and them. But that was the cool thing about Mortal Kombat 9 is it talked about how Cyrax and Sector and these dudes became robots, and it talked about how Shang Tsung used to be old. Then he lost the first Mortal Kombat tournament, and Shao Kahn was like, "You fucked up. I'm gonna kill you." And that's when he's like, "Well, we'll have a second tournament, which is like all or nothing," because that's the idea that I think the 95 game came up with was like the 10 consecutive wins. Whoever loses 10 consecutive times, like their realm gets absorbed or whatever.
I was amused in 9 by the fact that nearly all the female characters are dressed like strippers.
Yeah, that was something that I guess they fixed in the 11th game. It is distracting, but I guess the logic is like, yeah, they don't have armor, but it's kind of hard to fight when there's like this gorgeous like model with giant titties out, like trying to kill you with killer fucking sharp
yeah, like wearing rings too.
It's like your eyes, your eyes should be at the like her razor fans and her size and not her big luscious breasts that are like
Sonya Blade in there had like porn star tits.
Right. Sonya Blade's outfit. Let's see if I can show this. Sonya Blade's outfit in Mortal Kombat 9 is ridiculous. Like, let's go ahead and look at let's look at all of them. Because I remember part 3, she was looking cool.
I gotta say, Bridget played a very good Sonya in the 95 version.
Oh, Bridget Nielsen. Yeah, she was not bad.
She also played Veronica Vaughn in Billy Madison.
Of course, and she was in the funny movie not Trojan War, Love Stinks, with her and French Stewart. If you haven't seen that one, that is a funny ass movie with French Stewart, where French Stewart's that nerdy guy from Third Rock or whatever, but basically he's a nerdy guy who meets Bridget Nielsen, and she's like bridal crazy, and it was a weird ass dated movie from the 90s. Tanya Banks is in it too. Let's see here. Mortal Kombat 9. This is going to be this might be too racy for Facebook for this costume. This is what she's like wearing. I like how I put Sonya. Sorry. Okay, this is what she's wearing the entire game. Like, it's literally just a vest with no shirt, no bra, like a badge.
Barely keeping them in, too.
And yeah, these are like some D cups, dog. Like, and she's got dog tags. And, like, this is something I always see in the fighting games. The chicks have this thing going on. They wear, like, gloves. She's got a watch, I guess. But what's up with these, like, elbow pads? And then the one arm always has, like, more than the other. Like, more. I don't get it. Is that nipple I'm seeing? Am I seeing nipple poking out of this drum? What the hell?
What else you gotta love is how her makeup's always perfect, and so is her hair.
Well, I guess maybe she's fighting, just naturally.
Though. Well, she's fighting though. You would think fighting would mess up someone's hair.
Maybe she's like one of those Chola chicks who got it tattooed on her face.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, that explains the makeup, but what about the hair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the ponytail is practical. You definitely wouldn't want your hair down. And the thing is, it doesn't really make sense with Sonya. It makes more sense with like Melina. Like Melina's like a sick, twisted monster woman. So the idea that and Sindel, like the idea that she walks around all sexy looking isn't that far-fetched because it adds to like the dementedness of it, Like Sindel was also
kind of funny. How many geeks out there still would as long as Melina kept her mask on?
No. She's probably got teeth in her snatch, dog. Jesus Christ. Who knows? But yeah, that obviously in case you're gathered, like obviously I'm pretty familiar with the game's lore. I think Mortal Kombat 9 really helped that because it kind of spells out like the first 3 games pretty well, and you meet all these characters. You find out that Melina was like a katana clone. Shao Kahn basically is the emperor, and he absorbed Edenia, which is where Katana and Sindel were from. He basically killed the king took Sindel, the queen, as his own, against her will, and kidnapped Katana and basically raised her as like a stepdaughter. And then eventually Sindel, she turns evil, and Katana basically vies for Shao Kahn's affection. It's kind of like Thanos and Nebula, and all Shao Kahn wants is like his own princess, so he has Shang Tsung make Melina in the flesh pits, and she's basically Tarkatan, which is what Baraka is. And yeah, the idea that she's like, when she like stabs you in the face with like her size and then like eats your throat out and then like rubs her blood all over herself like sexually, like that works. It works like on a character thing for character level.
What about Shiva?
Yeah, Shiva also, she can be like sexy. She wore like a wrestler's thong, like one of those spandex suits.
But has like 4 arms.
She's got 4 arms and also huge titties. That's the other thing about Mortal Kombat 11 is like they brought them down a little. They're like A cups and B cups. They're like, these chicks are like Katana especially. Katana looked cool in Mortal Kombat 11. She's got like this athletic build, But the other thing is she's not like, I wouldn't call her like physically imposing or anything, but Shiva is. Shiva's like, yeah, a giant chick in a thong basically with 4 arms. And she's about to crush your head.
How fucking bad was that Goro though?
Which one? Mortal Kombat 95?
The new one.
I have a lot to talk about Goro. I mean, I feel like this is going to be a long stream. Like, I feel like there's a lot to get over. But yeah, as far as like real quick, Katana's outfit in part 11, yeah, reduce her tit size to not be giant fucking like Dolly Parton titties. It's not necessary. And, also make her look, like a young Asian woman. It's totally doable and awesome. And it works. But with Sindel and Shiva and Melina, like, you can actually ramp up the sexiness. Like, make them like evil demonic sluts. Sonya, it doesn't work. Katana, it kind of works. Jade, it works. Like these sexy ninja chicks. I don't know. It seems like Shao Kahn would have like hot female guards, like, dressed. That seems like something Shao Kahn would do, because he's a oh my God, Michael Fuchs. I had Mortal Kombat on Game Gear. Yeah, I never owned a Game Gear or a Game Boy.
I had a Game Gear. Never had Mortal Kombat on it, but I did have a Game Gear.
Yeah. But anyway, what you were saying about Goro, yes. Goro, let me say this. He looked amazing. He looked great. And he looked so much better than the 95 Goro, even though the 95 Goro was like this great achievement in like puppeteering and animatronics. He looked weird. He did not look, he didn't have like the believability as some other great practical effect creatures that we've seen before. I think the problem is he should have had a human face somehow, like a human playing him with like 4 arms or something. I think that would have been
what this one was. In the original 95 one, Goro took out some people before he lost to Johnny Cage.
Goro looked great in this new one.
It made him a real threat.
Goro looked great in this new one, but that's about it. First of all, Goro, if you told Goro, hey, we need to send you out to Earthrealm, take you out of your lair and go do like wet work, basically go assassinate someone before the tournament, Goro would be like, why are you bothering me with this? I am the 9-time grand champion winner of the tournament. If anyone wants to fuck with me, they know where to find me. They can come to me. I'm not worried. That's the idea, is like the idea that like Shang Tsung is so threatened. That was the idea, is they're not threatened. They have this ringer. They have Goro. That's the thing. He is the ringer for the first tournament. The idea is you go to this shadowy, magical mountain in Earthrealm. It's on Earthrealm by you. But yeah, Shang Tsung's island. It's some creepy island off the Southeast Asian coast or something. And there's like, it's got Skull Island vibes. It's like lost in fog and your compass doesn't work. And there's a tournament being held there. And that's like really all the exposition we need to know. That's what I liked about part 9. It just drops you. They're in the tournament. It's like the tournament's just started. You don't find out how anyone got there or what. It's just bam, we're here, and we start meeting the characters there, which is not bad really. But the idea that you're gonna endure this like to the death fighting tournament, and you might get a chance you get to challenge the grand champion Goro, and you never even see him. That's what I'm saying. Like eventually someone gets to fight Goro, someone makes it to the final round, and you realize this thing is like a 4-armed like 600-pound beast that just rips you apart. And it's like, how are you supposed to beat this thing?
I think my favorite Goro move was always whenever he uses 2 arms to hold you and then the other 2 to beat you.
Of course, that is what he would do.
I think what else I gotta love is in the 95 one, how Goro was just disgusted and appalled with Kano.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is Goro was like an honorable warrior. He was disgusted by Kano because he had no honor and no fucking manners, and he was just a loudmouth idiot. And Goro's not a dummy. Goro is a fucking prince, He's
that's
like
what I
royalty.
like about Kano, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And the idea is like those two characters would react like that to each other because they're different characters. Kano, we'll talk about Kano in a second, but he was probably the best part of that movie. Goro, though, in this new one, yeah, why would he even be bothered to go kill some random dude and his family in a barn in Farmsville somewhere? It's like Goro would look at Shang Tsung and be like, the idea that he approaches Shang Tsung and he's like, I heard you got someone you need to kill. No, Goro hangs out in his lair all day, just getting fed and amused, however he wants, entertained. He's the grand champion of Mortal Kombat 9 times over, and he's a prince. He's the prince of the Shokan. That's what they're called, the Shokan. Those 4-armed, they're basically the spawn of human and dragon. Dragons mated humans, and that's how the Shokans were made. Creepy. But Goro, I feel like, are you frozen again? Or are you staring at me like, well, I feel like the thing about Goro is I can't tell if I'm frozen or if Donovan's frozen. I always call him Donovan. Jesus. Let's see. Maybe if I stop sharing my screen. Is that better?
Is it?
Were you hearing all that stuff I was talking to myself about being frozen and shit? Oh, okay. So I'm not frozen. Good. But yeah, Goro, I think the thing about him is like, yeah, he's just like a henchman in this movie. He shows up and gets his ass kicked. And not even get kicked, but he gets killed. He gets murdered. He's like, he's not coming back for the next one. That was poor judgment in writing there. Especially if you're trying to sequel bait us, like this movie's really like, there's going to be 3 more. It's like, yeah, but it also has to stand up on its own.
Mm-hmm.
We have to want more. You know what I mean?
Back. Gotta take a leak.
No worries. I can prattle on. I can remove you from let's see here. We'll just go to the yeah. But yeah, Goro, big problem with Goro was spoilers. He just basically shows up at the end at a barn and has to fight Cole. And Jesus Christ, we haven't even talked about Cole. Cole is like a brand new character from the movie, just for this movie. He wasn't in any of the games. And I get what they were trying to do, but we'll talk about Cole more when Donovan gets back. But yeah, Goro, first of all, should have no problem dispatching a person like Cole and his family. But second of all, Goro is so intense and pampered and threatening that he wouldn't even need to. He wouldn't even want to go down there. What a waste of his time. Send one of your fucking ninjas to do it. Like, you literally have ninjas. They're fucking assassins with magic superpowers. Ask them. And second of all, it's like, what is this idea of like killing all the contestants before they enter the tournament? That's like cheating. Shang Tsung, I don't know. I don't know if he'd do that. Now yet.
Back.
I feel like my cat's out there killing birds or bothering birds at least. But yeah, I was saying, yeah, the thing about Goro, it's like, why would he even be bothered by this? And then second of all, it's like, why is Shang Tsung like trying to cheat at this tournament so bad and kill all the fighters? Like, oh, if I guess we just kill all Earthrealm fighters before the tournament begins, I'm sure that would be fine.
I think another thing is Goro had no life to him. I mean, he was just like a big beast that was meant to destroy things, but didn't.
Yeah, Goro's basically, like I said, he's a ringer. It's like Shang Tsung's like, yo, you hang out on my island in this lair and you do everything you want. You can fuck all the bitches you want, kill anyone you want. We'll just feed you whatever you want. You just hang out in your lair, and anytime we have to send someone your way, you just have to kill them and just make sure that you just keep winning. Just keep winning, and we'll eventually conquer Earthrealm. You know, Outworld will have control over Earthrealm if you win one more time. And that's the idea is Liu Kang in the games, you know, that's the idea is he is a fucking Shaolin monk, chosen one super fighter. And the idea that he's some monk from Earthrealm, the idea that he is going to, it is really inspiring, you know, it's like almost super heroic. The idea that Liu Kang is that good. He's just some farm boy, you know what I mean? But he eventually, that's the idea is he beats Goro. And once he beats Goro, it's like Shang Tsung is like, oh, you got to fight me now. Fuck. Well, if you beat Goro, you're probably going to beat Shang Tsung, as dangerous and powerful and scary Shang Tsung is. But that's why Liu Kang, you know, he kicks ass. He rocks the boat. And I was going to say the idea that Goro goes to kill this Cole character. Who the fuck is Cole? And
a descendant of Scorpion,
I guess. But the idea is, I was saying, like, the idea, I get it, what they're trying to do. We need a self-insert character, a fish out of water character to explain all the backstory to. A character that doesn't know what's going on, so they can be told what's happening, so everyone in the audience knows what's happening. But that's already Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is that character. And then you would have Johnny Cage saying all these funny jokes that like Kano was saying, and that's it. Johnny Cage would be those two characters. That's the other thing. Kano was great, but why would you bring Kano along? Why is Kano helping you? You wouldn't ask Kano for help. Kano is a fucking bad guy.
Yeah, I was a little worried they were making him out to be a mercenary. Not a mercenary. They said he was a mercenary, an anti-hero.
He's a bad guy. He's not an anti-hero. Yeah.
Straight up villain.
Katana's an anti-hero. She's bad, then becomes good. Who else is bad and becomes good?
Scorpion.
Scorpion is like Sub-Zero I think was good and became bad. I did like how brutal Sub-Zero was in this one. Like he's a cold-blooded killer, but that's Bihan. He dies and eventually becomes Noob Saibot. And then the new Sub-Zero, that's his other brother. I can't remember but he goes by the name Tundra, and he assumes the identity of Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 2. And that's the idea. Sub-Zero's back from the dead too. And it's like, no, it's actually an imposter Sub-Zero. You know, it's like all these characters have like these like silly little backstories, but when you put them together, it makes for this like pretty great all-encompassing drama, you know?
Didn't Scorpion start as a straight up villain?
Yeah, Scorpion is bad, and I hated how they made Scorpion like the good guy who's he's just avenging his own death. Scorpion was a vicious fucking ninja murderer, and yes, he had a family, but the idea is, you know, with the ninjas, it's like the Hitman, like no women, no kids. The idea that Sub-Zero would kill his family and his whole clan, that's brutal, that's cold, it's cold-blooded. So yeah, I guess Sub-Zero, but the thing is, it's eventually revealed that Quan Chi was behind the whole thing, and Sub-Zero was either manipulated or tricked into killing Scorpion and his clan. So, I again, Scorpion was good in this movie, but I wasn't crazy about his costume. I do prefer the ninja costume, and I gotta say, Mortal Kombat 11, as like silly as the plot points are, I think the costumes are pretty fucking epic in that one. And I think they also look great because of the, graphics. You have like real textures. You can see what's made out of leather and what's made out of metal and what's made out of armor. And
here's a character we haven't talked about in the new one yet. Reptile.
Yeah, Reptile. I mean, we're going to talk about all of them. But yeah, Reptile, the Reptile scene, I did like how Reptile was more of a one-off type villain. That makes more sense than Goro, The idea that Reptile would be sent to assassinate someone and fail. But, also they gave Reptile a name in this one.
They did. Catch that?
They're like, send the reptilian Zyzon or whatever they called him. It was dumb. It was just like, all right.
What do you think if they did this instead of just a Mortal Kombat movie? Is followed the same path as the MCU. First, give one movie that's Sub-Zero and Scorpion story. Then you have another movie that's kind of like Kano and Jax trying to hunt down, Sonya and Jax hunting down Kano. And then you eventually bring them together.
I think, man, yeah, I feel like this first movie, like maybe it could have been all the pre-stories at once, because it's really only like, there's only a couple conflicts here. There's Liu Kang entering the tournament, Johnny Cage enters the tournament, and then there's Jax, Sonya, and Kano. They're going into the tournament for a reason. And then Scorpion and Sub-Zero are in the tournament. And then Raiden. And that's everybody in the first game, at least. And then, you introduce all these other characters from, Jax is technically from part 2 also, but the idea that, I don't know, man, the idea that Cole had to be used instead of Johnny Cage, like they were saying, we wanted a character who wasn't a white male to be this typical protagonist. And it's like, dummies, that's Liu Kang. He's a Chinese person. You replaced a Chinese guy with a Chinese American. So it's like, he's technically half white. So it's honestly a step down.
Well, it's funny you say that, because as I was watching the movie, I was under the impression this was Liu Kang at first.
Yeah. That would have been fine if that Cole's character was Liu Kang. Yes. And he wasn't related to Scorpion. I think the idea is Liu Kang knows what's going on. I did like how Liu Kang shows up and he's like, yo, I can fucking make fire out of my hands. I'm fucking badass. What's up? Like, we didn't have to watch Liu Kang learn all his shit. The idea that Liu Kang is an epic fighter. Like, why would the Shaolins like choose him to fight? Why would he be the one elected to go? He's obviously been training for this a long, long time. He knows the stakes. He knows that Earth Realm's in the balance. Johnny Cage is a fucking dumb fuck who's just like, well, I don't know what's happening. It's like, again, we're going to talk about it a few times, but Big Trouble in Little China is like such huge inspiration for Mortal Kombat. And, obviously you've got the Raiden is the Three Storms and Shang Tsung is Lo Pan. And, what's his name? What's his name? Wang. They say Wang like 700,000 times in that movie. But Wang, he's obviously your Liu Kang character. He's the main protagonist. He's the one who saves the day. But Johnny Cage, that's your Kurt Russell. That's your Jack Burton. He's like the main character of the movie. He's the one the audience relates to. He's the one that's cracking all the jokes. He's the one that he's like handsome and funny and the ladies like him and the guys are laughing at what he's saying. Like, that's just like it's a perfect hero opportunity here. Like, it writes itself,
Do you think Ryan Reynolds could play a good Johnny Cage?
Ryan Reynolds would be excellent, actually. He'd be better than anyone we talked about previously, because I was saying, like, Channing Tatum came to mind, and then I thought Zac Efron would be funny. Or who else? You were saying John Cena, right?
Yeah, that crossed my mind.
Yeah, I think John Cena's too big, but Ryan Reynolds is perfect because he like looks the part too, and he's funny, and all these jokes, and his like conceitedness. Also, you could have Chris Evans, fucking Captain America.
Chris Evans, because
he he started out playing those sarcastic, self-absorbed asshole characters, and it'd be great to watch him go back to that. You know, I guess he did that with that stupid Knives Out movie, but God, that movie sucked.
I haven't watched that one yet.
It was not good, and I hate Rian Johnson. It's the thing. I was like, I gave him a chance because it's like he fucked up Star Wars so bad. I can never ever forgive him for that. But he made Knives Out, and I was like, let's see if this is any good. Maybe he should just stick to like murder mysteries, and it was awful.
Maybe they should get The Rock to play Goro.
Dude, I mean, like I said, that was the problem with the first one. Was Goro was 100% animatronic, and I feel like that was too ambitious for the time because it didn't really pan out. And like I said, if it was just like
give The Rock 2 more arms and then make him like taller.
Well, I thought Goro looked fantastic in this movie, and that's why it's such a shame that he was reduced to a disposable henchman character when in fact he should be like, he's the fucking Mount Everest of the tournament. He is the top of the food chain out there. Like if you fight Goro, it's like, good luck to you. Like you got to fight Goro. Like, you know, you're going to fight Goro, man. Like Godspeed. Like this is not fun to watch. Like that's why when Liu Kang beats him, you're like, holy shit, these Shaolins are no joke. And that's the best part about part 9 is when Liu Kang finally goes to the lair. Shang Tsung's like, all right, you're the only Earth Realm hero who's made it this far. So to the lair with you. He fucking like teleports him off to the Goro's lair. Goro's lair is like this like stone cave with like skeletons and weird creatures in it. And fucking Goro's just like
in the original Mortal Kombat when you finally play against Goro.
Yeah. And it's in part 9 too. That's just where he hangs out. That's like
I could hear the music in my head too. The song that whenever you fight Goro.
Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. The pit bottom, Goro's lair. Here we go. Oh no.
So
anyway, could you hear that?
I heard a little bit of it. And do you remember the Goro song on Mortal Kombat, the album?
God, we're going to need to talk about that too in a second, for sure. The Mortal Kombat soundtracks and the album. Yes. Yeah. I don't remember Goro's song off the top of my head, but, God, yeah. I remember jamming that shit out in fucking when I was like 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. That was the funny thing about, you know, this violent video game. That was, you know, people freaked out about Grand Theft Auto. People freak out about Marilyn Manson. I think Mortal Kombat was like right after rap music. First it was rap music. That was like the big thing. It was the rock music. It was the satanic rock music from the 70s and 80s. And then it was the rap music from the 80s and early 90s. And then it was the video games, and it was all because of Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat was like, oh my God.
Because they had like blood ripping heads off.
The idea that, and also the idea that it had realistic graphics. It was photographs of people. It was little human sprites. And that was also a game changer. I think people underestimate how blown away people were by those graphics, especially like the leap from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2 came out 1 year later. Like, that was the thing. It's like Mortal Kombat 1 came out. It came out and it fucking exploded. People were like, and you have to understand, like there were as many developers as there were players on the game. Like, there was like, I think there's like a crew of like 7 or 10 people, maybe. Counting the actors, it had to have been like under 50 people that made that game. I'd say under 20 people.
I vividly remember where I played Mortal Kombat for the first time, and it was.
Me too.
Do you remember Cece's Pizza on Mesa?
Yes.
They had that arcade.
Nice. I remember the first time I played it, it was in a, I don't even remember where I was, but I knew I was with my buddy Joey and his stepdad and his mom and his stepdad Jaime. I remember it was like a burger joint and we were eating burgers and he joked about like, how's that goat burger? Cause like, you know, it was El Paso. We're like, you know, we're like, I don't remember where we were. but it was like a road trip somewhere, and it was like a tiny little burger shack. We're the only ones in there, and there's a joke about the burgers are goats, and they weren't. They were made out of. I was actually excited when he told me it was a goat burger. I was like, really? It's delicious. He's like, no, it's a hamburger. But then I turn around and I realized, like, oh, there's Mortal Kombat, and yeah, played it for like 30 minutes or whatever. Put like $4, put like a couple dollars in it, and holy shit, just like button mashing violence, you know.
So I also remember like Street Fighter was a big one at the time too.
Yeah, I mean Street Fighter came out before Mortal Kombat for sure.
Like right before though.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
well,
right
Street Fighter
before?
2, or you mean Street Fighter 1?
Just Street Fighter in general, like 1, that did not come out terribly long before Mortal Kombat 1, did it?
I want to say Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 1 were like coming out around the same time.
Okay.
I could be mistaken though. Let's look it up. Mortal Kombat. But yeah, just playing that first game, and then like next thing I knew, before I could even buy the first game, I remember that part 2 was at a Peter Piper Pizza somewhere. That Peter Piper Pizza on Mesa, and it was like everyone was standing around it, like holy shit. And it was just like, I think the big thing about part 2 that really stood out was like the colors. Like everything was way more colorful and cool, and like Scorpion. Yeah, bloodier and scarier, but also like, yeah, you know, like there's like lots of like the sky is purple, and the floor is like made out of hot green acid, and you know, like the ninjas in particular, like their costumes, like Scorpion was like yellow, and he had this like hockey mask, you know, it looked like you could tell it was made out of shiny hard plastic. It was just really an upgrade, and you have like more than twice as many characters, and it was just a great time to be alive. Great time to be 7 years old, 10 years old.
I read in an article somewhere, I mean, I don't know how true this was, but apparently Midway or whoever was producing the arcade machines was rigging the machines to detect the characters people were playing the most, so they could concentrate and commercialize those players more.
Okay.
I don't think the early 90s had the technology to record who you played from your Sega Genesis or your Super Nintendo, but my understanding is like the ones you played at like pizza restaurants and stuff was keeping track of how often the character was played.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the thing about Mortal Kombat, was it was a arcade game first and foremost. The idea was it was built to be like putting quarters in it all fucking day, because like it was built for like short spurts of gameplay, you know. It really was I mean, they can't take credit for inventing the fighting game format, but
they really reinvented it.
Yeah, and also just made it hardcore, like made it like, you know, people who weren't playing video games at the time, like 20 and 30-year-olds who were like getting into video games because of Mortal Kombat. And it's the game that created the rating system for games.
It was, yeah.
It was like, holy shit, this is bad. Like, I mean, you're literally ripping people's like skulls out of their head and burning them alive and stabbing them and stuff. And
if I remember correctly, you had to type in a certain code in the first game for there to be blood.
On the Sega, yes. On the Sega Genesis. Or I think it was a code for more blood.
By Mortal Kombat.
Super Nintendo, I think, was the one that got rid of the blood.
Yeah, I froze there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't tell if it's you or me. That's what I'm saying. All right. Well, Mortal Kombat, the first game, was released in 1992. Let's see here exactly when. Come on. Just says 1992. What the hell? Come on. Surely there's a release date. October 92. All right. And then we'll look up Street Fighter games. Yeah, I think I remember being so stoked. Yeah, and then after like Mortal Kombat 2, right around the time part 3 was coming out, or I guess right after, that's when the first movie was coming out. And I remember being a little kid, and this is what's so funny, is like when I was a kid, I remember being so upset. I remember seeing the first Like I remember there's a trailer, like the Dumb and Dumber movie.
Yeah.
And what are The Mask? All these New Line Cinema movies with Jim Carrey in
Mortal Kombat trailers.
They all had Mortal Kombat trailers before them.
Yep.
And then I remember one day, the movie was supposed to come out in May, and then it got pushed back to August. And then suddenly it was like, I saw the first commercial on TV, and it was like 10 seconds long. And I was like, whoa, here it is. And then it was like Mortal Kombat coming out August 95, rated PG-13. And I remember being like, no, what? Rated PG-13? What the hell?
Well, were you disappointed it wasn't R or what?
Yes. And it's so funny because this time around they got all the violence right. But Jesus Christ, I feel like young me would still be disappointed with it. I'm like, well, it was cool when Jax crushed that dude's head or when Jax's arms exploded, but I don't know, man. I guess
in 95, they didn't have the confidence that they would get enough people to go see an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Now they
especially
have, like successful Deadpool and
well, especially like a hard R movie, you know. And that's the thing is like, oh, dude, the first game came out August 30th, 1987.
The first Mortal Kombat or Street
Fighter? The first Street Fighter.
Well, shit.
And then Best Part 2 came out in 91. So yeah, Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 1 were like the two. But yeah, I remember the game, the first movie. It's like, I feel like if it was way more bloodier, just as it is, it would have been a classic, you know?
I think if you added blood to that exact movie, they'd have had to rate it R, though.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. If it was rated R, I feel like we would have had a much better received movie. Because I got to say, as terrible, all video game adaptation movies are bad. It's a curse.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat, as bad as it is the best, if not one of the best.
Hey, Mario was good.
No, it wasn't.
It was so bad, it was good.
Bob Hoskins, like, I don't think there's a single...
only regret, isn't it?
It's like, yeah, like on his deathbed or some shit. He was like, my biggest regret is doing Super Mario Brothers.
I think I've grown to appreciate it in a sense that it was so bad. It's good.
Well, that's why like the first Mortal Kombat movie too. It's like that hasn't aged well at all. Like when they start fighting and the techno music comes on, bam, bam, bam. It's just like, ugh. And it didn't work either in the new one when they do the orchestral, the bum, 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 bum. It's like timpanis and shit. It's like, no, you're making it worse. You're making it worse.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation, that movie was directed like a Power Rangers episode.
It is one of the worst movies of all time. Yes, we will talk about Annihilation. I gotta say, the
costumes were terrible. The acting was terrible.
Even like that was the one thing I didn't like about it. I mean, that's why no one liked it, because it's like it's just like cool eye candy. Like if you look here, like look at fucking Scorpion's costume right here. I mean, it's just there's so much like texture going on here. He's got like, you know, first of all, the red's cool. He's got metal. And then when you look at like the more classic costume, it's just, yeah, I mean, that's cool. That's a fucking ninja, dog.
The 16-bit costume.
Yeah, I mean, even then, the simple first Mortal Kombat movie, it was like just like a simple like yellow.
Yep.
What's the word I'm looking for? It's called a
outfit. We'll get it. I mean,
no, it's like the type of. It's like in remember in that funny ass movie with Will Ferrell and what's it? Land of the Lost.
Oh, I
never trust. It's a tunic. He's wearing a tunic. Never trust someone in a tunic.
Is that what Will Ferrell says or what?
No, that's what's his name? McBride. Danny McBride says.
Okay.
But like you see how he's got like these little like metallic like shoulder blades like popping out like little like you might cut yourself on him. I mean, if you saw this dude in your fucking house in the middle of the night, like you realize like you're probably gonna get killed. This guy is this guy looks scary.
Just a kiss your ass goodbye image.
He's got a fucking skull on his belt and two big swords and elbow pad. Like, okay, he looks bad. Now, if you look at him in what's it called? The Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Yeah, not good.
No, it looked like a Halloween costume.
And then there was the great line that Sindel gives where, yeah, what does she say to him? Where she's like, let's find this shit. Worst line ever. I'm sure if I just Google worst line ever, it'll come up. I'm not even joking. Oh my God. Yes. Holy shit. I don't know how much of this I could play. Let's see if I could just skip to the main part here.
I think you get like 10 seconds or so.
It's where Sindel basically is like, Mother, please don't do this. Oh, here we go. It's right here at the end. All right, let's see. Hopefully you can hear this.
You're alive. Too bad you will die.
There it is. There it is.
You're alive. Too bad.
You're alive.
You will die.
You will die. Oh, Mystery Science Theater. They want more episodes. Honestly, it's like if it's not.
Can I share something a little unrelated that I made the other day that I'm really proud of? It's only like 8 seconds.
No, sure. Go for it.
Okay, let me get it up.
It's a video? Okay.
It's like 8 seconds.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just hope it plays all right. If not, I'll watch it off Kramer or whatever.
Thing is I got to give a little backstory first. Remember Ben Shapiro made that video where he goes into Home Depot to buy wood?
I didn't see it, but I saw jokes making fun of it.
Okay, so can I share screen quickly?
Yes.
How do I do that? Here we go.
You share it, and then I will pull it up for you.
Or maybe I can just drag and drop a video file.
Oh,
Here we go. Here we go.
Really? Okay, let's see. Add to stream.
I just went shopping at Home Depot. You should do the same. This would.
That's good. That's great. Hey, that was my first time I ever shared a actual video and not a link.
I figured that's only like 4 seconds from each copyrighted bit, so
nice. Well, that's pretty funny. He's got wood. That's what I did the other day. We had to cut down these 2 trees in my mom's yard, and it was like they've been sitting there, and it's just like, hey, I've got wood. Who wants some wood? Come get my wood, you know? Nobody's picked it up though. Now, like a month later, I'm just gonna put it out on the curb, and bulk collection's gonna pick it up.
I remember one time I was with my dad, and he mentioned something about his homeowner's insurance, and I started giggling and said, "You're what?" He's like, "Homeowner's insurance." Like every time I'd giggle a little bit, he's like, "What? What's so fucking funny?"
God, yeah. I just think those jokes are they're always gonna be funny, old man. Like, come on.
I think one of the more clever ones was on Do America, where the teacher says, like, "We don't need TV to entertain us." You said yes.
Entertain us, anus. Oh yeah.
Have you always heard a word I said? Yeah, anus.
I've said it before, but I was like, my dad. That's the thing is, my dad and mom didn't care that I was playing violent video games like Mortal Kombat. I was watching violent movies like RoboCop and From Dusk Till Dawn. But for some reason, my dad had a problem with Beavis and Butthead.
You know what I think it was in the long run that parents may have had the issue with is it wasn't so much the vulgarity, it was just how juvenile and immature it was.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, it was after he saw the movie. I've said this before, but once my dad saw Beavis and Butthead Do America, he got it. It was like, oh, okay, like they're stupid. That's the joke. As long as the joke is don't act like these people. Like the act is, as long as you understand that they're fucking dumbasses and you're not going to be doing what these because that's the idea. It's like they like Beavis and Butthead, and it's like, you want to be like Beavis and Butthead? No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's funny enough. Speaking of Mike Judd's work, I went to a convention over the weekend and I met the voice actor who plays John Redcorn.
Yeah, you showed me a picture of the autograph.
Yeah. He sells meat rubs for the barbecue called King of the Grill.
God damn, that's sad.
They tasted pretty good.
But that is so sad because it's like, motherfucker, get some work or what? Is that your job now? Is that his career?
Well, he was
And
on
if it
Parks,
is
he was on Parks and Recreation.
right, okay, well, yeah, get some work, but like, obviously if you're an actor, don't let that be your main profession. Maybe, be like the guy who makes barbecue rubs, but you are also the voice of John Redcorn. But the fact that you call it King of the Grill, it's like, motherfucker,
I thought
just
that
call
was
it.
hilarious.
I mean, it is funny, but just like call it your own. Like, what's the actor's name?
Jonathan Joss.
Just call it, Joss, like Joss Whedon.
Yeah, Joss.
Okay, yeah, Jonathan Joss's Juicy Rub or something. I don't know. The JJ Rub. I don't know. Something. Just stop living off your glory days. Like that's like
Hey, it makes you money.
Well, Robin Shou, like he'll always be remembered as the guy who played Liu Kang.
Right. Wasn't he
But,
also
like-
in that 95 version of the Jungle Book or 94?
No, I was saying earlier, Jason Scott Lee. That's who that was.
So did they like really look alike? Because I was always
Yeah, no,
yeah,
they look.
guy.
They had the same hair and the same build. They had like long black like mullets and that thin muscular Bruce Lee build.
No,
But
okay.
Jason Scott Lee had more of a fish face. His eyes are kind of more, and their voices are totally different. Like Jason Scott Lee's got like kind of a voice like this.
Which one of them was on Beverly Hills Ninja?
Robin Shou. Robin Shou from Liu Kang. Liu Kang. And I think Robin Shou has a thicker Chinese accent, and but Robin Shou's funnier. He was funny in the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Well, that was straight up. Beverly Hills Ninja was straight up Mortal Kombat meets Tommy Boy.
Right. And then Robin Shou is great in that one because he does all deadpan, he's like the straight man who's got a no, brother, you're not supposed to do it like this, whatever.
Very serious.
Yeah, but in the first one of the funniest parts, and that's the thing about both movies, and we're not, like I said, Annihilation is something else entirely. Annihilation looks like a concert, something or other, like a live stage performance. Yeah, that's been like put on film. It's like, it's totally different. We're just going to shoehorn as many characters as we can. They're going to come in, they're going to say hello, they're going to die, or they're going to leave, and that's it. And we're just going to keep doing that for an hour and a half and play a bunch of techno music, and just wait until your heads are about to explode, and then we'll end it. And but Mortal Kombat 1 and this more recent Mortal Kombat movie, they both had some pretty good jokes in them, for real. And one of the funniest parts on the first one is when Johnny Cage, again, there's so much potential there for like a great heroic comedic character with so many great lines and laughs. And in the first one, when he shows up and he's got like a fucking like a big old dolly full of like Louis Vuitton luggage, he's got like 8 bags and shit.
Yeah, Liu Kang to carry them for him.
Yeah, he's like, hey, that random Chinese guy, Liu Kang. He's like, can you help me take these bags to my room? And he's like, pulls him a tip. And Liu Kang's like, no problem. And he grabs the money, pockets it, grabs his fucking suitcases, and just chucks them in the water. And then he looks right at him, and he just like smiles in the water. Like he knows he's the greatest fighter in the fucking world. He's like, what are you going to do?
Thank God I didn't ask him to partner.
Yeah, what are you going to do, asshole American? Don't you know you're about to go into a fight to the death with these people? Like, what are you doing bringing your fucking luggage here? This isn't a game. Like, that's the thing about Johnny Cage is he doesn't understand the stakes. He doesn't understand how seriously he thinks this is like something that's going to boost his acting career. He's a dummy.
Yeah.
But like they say in the first one, or in the Mortal Kombat 9, the game, Liu Kang's like says to Raiden, like after like Liu Kang like already has like a little confrontation with him and fucking tells him to fuck off. Basically, he's like, "Yo, show some respect to fucking Lord Raiden." He's literally like the god of thunder standing right here. You don't understand who you're talking to, kind of thing. And then he walks off, and Liu Kang looks at Raiden. He's like, "What do you see in this guy?" And he's like, "He doesn't know it yet, Liu Kang, but he's a hero. Like he doesn't realize it yet, but he is a hero. Johnny Cage is a good guy." Even though he's a dumb fucking asshole who's self-absorbed. That's the idea. He grows. He learns to not be a dumb fucking ass. That's the whole beauty of his character. That's why a lot of these characters, they work, And Scorpion, he's definitely, if we're going to talk about my playing the games, I love Scorpion. He's always my favorite. And in the more recent games, they purposely make him not the strongest character because he's so popular, You can't make him super popular and super awesome at the game.
No one will ever play anyone else.
Well, still, I will play as Scorpion no matter what game I'm doing. And in growing up, like playing those earlier games, like if I pick Scorpion, that means you're going to die. Like, especially like in Mortal Kombat 4 and Trilogy, like Scorpion was a beast in those games, and they kind of nerfed him. But the thing is, Scorpion is so great. He's everyone's favorite character, or a lot of people's favorite character. A lot of people like Sub-Zero too, but he's like Wolverine in the X-Men. Like, he's not the leader, he's not the main guy, but everyone likes him because he's like mysterious and he's off to the side. He kicks ass. But like when you make him the main focus, when you make him the center of attention, it kind of loses his appeal. And yeah, I wish Scorpion had. And I hated how they like saved him to the very end. That's also not what you do to Scorpion. You don't like save him to the very like, oh, you're Scorpion finally.
He's not a grand finale,
right? Like that should have been like a great like before the grand finale. Scorpion and Sub-Zero finally have their moment. Like you watch, because that's the idea. Is like Scorpion enters the tournament to kill Sub-Zero. That's why he enters the tournament. Sub-Zero enters the tournament to represent the Lin Kuei. The idea is hopefully the Lin Kuei can get the title, and the Lin Kuei is his ninja clan. And it's like, yeah, Sub-Zero, I did like how in this movie and in the other games, like Bi-Han, the guy who is the first Sub-Zero, he's a brutal murderer. He is vicious and dangerous, and he can freeze you. He has like cryomancer powers, you know? Like, that's, you know, when Johnny Cage shows up and sees like fucking dudes with like knives coming out of his arms and reptile people who spit acid on other people's faces and melt their fucking eyes out, you realize like, oh shit, this isn't a game. This isn't like a joke. This isn't some sport.
Well,
this is like some black market evil shit.
And so I am gonna have to head out here.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like I'm just getting started. I think my buddy Max is gonna come in.
Awesome.
Cool, man. Well, it was good chatting.
Likewise.
If anyone else is watching and wants to come in, feel free. But yeah,
have a good one.
All right, man. Until the next stupid movie comes out.
For sure.
All right. Peace. Yeah. Well, I guess now I can just rant untethered. So, I feel like, let's see here. Burp, derp. All right. Well, yeah. Burp, derp. Okay. I don't know. Mortal Kombat. It was a dumb movie. There's a lot wrong with the movie. Like I said, yay, Andrea. Did you watch the stupid movie? Claudia, how are you guys? Yeah, I was just talking to my buddy Donovan about this dumb movie, and now I guess Max is coming in a second. But how are you all? The only one watching on this Monday. You haven't seen it yet. Well, you're not missing out on much. There are some good jokes. Kano says some good jokes. Where's Eddie? I know. Where is Eddie? I'll send Eddie the link. I don't know if Eddie saw the movie. Shit. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The Mortal Kombat movie was a lot they got. What did they get right about it? Kano's a jerk. Goro looked cool. Sub-Zero was dangerous. And I think that's about it. $5 on Tuesdays at the Spot in the theater. If you're gonna go to the theater, go see King Kong versus Godzilla. That was way better for the theater. This movie, you know, I'm sure you can find it online. It's on HBO. I'm sure you can find an HBO password. I don't know if I'd recommend this one in the theater. It's King Kong and Godzilla and this movie were both dumb, but this one was dumber for sure. There's a couple hot girl fighters. There's Sonya Blade. She's the main one. We were talking about her giant breastises in Mortal Kombat 9. Let me show you this. This is the costume she wears in part 9. Are you ready? This is what she wears when she fights people. Like, what is this? Like, we were talking about this earlier. Like, it's literally just like a vest with titties hanging out. That's Sonya Blade. But then there was also Katana and Melina and Jade and Chameleon. They were the ninja chicks. And then there's like, I don't remember who else. Sindel, she's like a queen. Yeah, right? Why don't more girls dress like that? I don't understand. You know, like if I was walking at the store and I saw this lady in the produce aisle, I don't feel like I'd try to talk to her, but I would be, you know, I would be smitten, to say the least. I'd be like, wow, what a bold woman getting her groceries like this. What a hero. I'm not going to talk to her though, because she looks like she's literally got a gun holster right here. So I'm probably going to stay away from her, but you know, God bless the special forces, you know, sending their troops out dressed like this. But I guess the idea is like, if you were having to fight this woman to the death, it'd be hard to like not look anywhere but like right here. You know, she'd have a knife in her hand coming at you and you wouldn't even notice because your eyes would be like right there. That's what you'd be looking at. I don't know. Or at least that's what I'd be looking at. So yeah, if you ever want to beat the shit out of me, just hire a hot naked woman to do it. It's dinner time. We love you, you perv. What are you guys eating? Fingers? Are you guys eating some pizza? Let me guess. Hot dogs? Are you eating sausages? Andrea's favorite food is sausage. This is the truth. I still owe her some hot dogs. You saw the hot dog video I posted the other day. Best hot dogs in town. Alvin, the town I'm in. You ready? Let's see here. We're having dead time. All right. Yeah. Mortal Kombat. The music. Can we talk about the techno music, the idea of raves busting out in the 90s? You know, ecstasy first hit the market in the mid 90s. And underground dance techno music was like a thing, and everyone is just dancing their balls off at these things. And Paul Anderson, he was the first Mortal Kombat movie from 95. That was the one that really busted out this techno thing. Like, the idea was originally have the soundtrack be like rock music. And Paul W.S. Anderson, he was the director. He was like, no, I want orchestral music and I want techno, electronic music, dance music. And I gotta say, at the time when you're in first grade and all these characters, you're seeing them in the flesh for the first time and they're fighting to this techno music, it's so cool. But as you get older, you realize it's stupid because it takes away all the drama. You don't know, you're not worried, you're not afraid, you're not scared. There's no tension. Like, I don't know. It just feels like, and if anyone dies, it just feels like, it doesn't feel like there's any weight to it when the techno music's playing. And that was something a lot of movies started copying and fucking up, is putting like, there's a shootout scene, techno music. And when this happens, it's just like, you don't feel like there's any danger. You don't feel like there's any issues. And The Matrix did this correctly. The Matrix plays the techno music on purpose when you're not supposed to feel like this is supposed to be fun time. Like when they're kung fu fighting, training, there's no danger, so it's techno music time. when they storm the lobby, the idea is they're supposed to mow through these guys. So it's techno music time. But when he's fighting Agent Smith, that's when the serious music comes on, and that's when it works. But if you just have techno music playing all the fucking time, it doesn't work. It doesn't work as well. I feel like this first Mortal Kombat movie did that right also. But that was the thing, is like techno music, making that a big thing with the rave culture meeting the fight scenes, you know? The idea of fight scenes and gunfight scenes being overlaid into techno music was a fad of the mid to late 90s that I think The Matrix kind of put an end to. Or no, forgive me. The Matrix Reloaded put an end to that, because The Matrix Reloaded was that was the first fight scene. Neo shows up, he's in a meeting, and then these agents show up and they're upgrades, techno music, fight. And it's not, you don't really feel like these upgrades are a problem anymore. And I guess you're not supposed to, but I mean, it would have been cool if it was more scary. But I don't know, techno music, that was something we can all blame the first Mortal Kombat movie for. Techno music fight scenes, yeah. As far as let's get Sonya's titties off of the screen, for crying out loud. Like Andrea said, it's dinner time. People are trying to eat here. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just start this Mortal Kombat movie. I feel like Max is going to come in here any second now. We're going to talk about it some more, but off the top of my head, every single character could have been recast. Raiden did not look great. Liu Kang Kung Lao looked okay. Kung Lao was fine. His performance was great. Kung Lao was awesome when he called Kano a stupid dog or whatever, and you know, like that scene was great. It was those character interaction scenes that made the movie worth watching. Kano's hilarious jokes, his hilarious puns. I don't know. It's just pretty funny. Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can get my cat inside. I'll be right back. Putting a pause real quick. I'll be right back. Gotta get a cat. Hang on. Okay. Sorry for the delay. I wonder if Max came in. All right. So yeah. My cat's inside. She's being bad right now. She's hanging out with boys. Oh, this big boy cat she's hanging out with. Scary, but she's fixed now, so whatever. As long as they don't fight. Because I feel like that cat would rip her in half. So, I don't know. Let's continue with the let's stop talking about this new movie because I feel like Max is going to come in here and we'll barrel through that. But the first games were a pretty big deal, and the music to them, the soundtracks. I was going to say there was what was it? Mortal Kombat the album came out to accompany like the first couple games, or I guess the first game. And it wasn't the music from the game. It was like techno music inspired by the game. And holy shit, it was cheesy. I'm not going to play any on this, but you should look it up. It's awful in a amazing way. Or is it amazing in an awful way? I don't know. And then the first movie has a soundtrack. The second movie has a techno soundtrack. And then they came up with another soundtrack for the games. There's like 4 albums, I think, of just techno music. And then I guess with the newer generation games, they kind of switched more to like a dubstep kind of thing. Not a fan of dubstep. I mean, I wasn't really a fan of techno either, but techno is better than dubstep in my opinion. The lame techno music I would take over the stupid tech dubstep. Yeah, I don't know. Crystal Method, Tracy Lords, KMFDM, Lords of Acid. These were the people that were on those first soundtracks. I mean, this shit was cool. Rammstein, I think, did a song. Who else? I mean, that's how I found out about Crystal Method, Dust Brothers. Who else? I mean, these Mortal Kombat albums. It was like there was a couple of them, some cool ones. Who else? There were some bad ones too. Psycho Sonic or Psychotronic or whatever. They weren't good. The Immortals. They did the famous theme, you know. And that was the idea, is like the announcer. I remember little kids just walking around like, Kano wins, woo, you know, finish him. Like we were all just running around like that, little children talking about that, you know, just fatality, just saying it randomly. God, we were dumb kids. But that's the thing. It's like one of those things where the first game was for kids, but it wasn't. And that's why it was so amazing. Because like, it's a video game, so it's for kids, right? It's like, yes, but it's not, you know, no. But the thing is, it wasn't like Resident Evil. Resident Evil could give kids nightmares. Resident Evil is fucking scary. Mortal Kombat was bloody and gory and gross, but it wasn't scary. It was fun. It's like a fighting game. You guys are fighting. I don't know. Mortal Kombat 3 came out like 3 times. I think Mortal Kombat 3 was where it just started getting a little goofy. We have Cyrax and Predator and Cyber Smoke, and they look like, I mean, Cyrax and Sector, they look like Predator. And they're like robot ninjas. And there were no ninjas in Mortal Kombat 3. I remember that was a big deal. Sub-Zero's in it, but he has no mask. He's like a shirtless guy. And then you have Scorpion. He's gone. Now we've got a yellow Predator looking robot who shoots a net out of his chest. And it's like, that's not the same. But also Mortal Kombat 3 is where it kind of takes away from that Asian inspired, like black magic and sorcery kind of vibe that the first 2 games had. The first 2 games feel very like, especially with the backgrounds and the setting and the music, it's very, you know, Asian inspired. It's cool. It's like this great mix of like magic, Asian culture, and sci-fi fantasy almost. It's cool. It's It's a very distinct vibe the first game has, and the world and the lore and all that stuff. It's neat, and if done well, it could be pretty epic. I mean, it could be like an Avengers level type movie, but I don't know if you could make like 20 movies off of it. No, you would make a couple movies off of the few tournaments. These characters aren't super rich where we don't need a Scorpion movie. I don't think. We would just need a fun, you know, you can get the exposition of these characters out of the way in 20-30 minutes, I'm sure. You know. And also you can always just assume, like, you know, exposition's overrated. We don't need to know that Liu Kang trained forever, and we don't have to see it. We can just be shown it. Liu Kang's a badass fighter. You see how great he is. You don't understand how great he's a fighter until you see him whooping people's asses. And yeah, Scorpion, he's a good one. He's a great character, but like I said, when he's like Wolverine, where you make him the main focus, he's not as cool anymore. He should be like a mysterious background character like Boba Fett or Wolverine, or, you know, these cool characters. They're cool because they're mysterious and they don't talk much. And, you know, the less you know about them, the better. But what little backstory you have, it's cool. He's like from the Nether Realm. He's here to the tournament to find Sub-Zero and avenge his own death. Like, that's pretty badass. That's really all we need to know. And yeah, eventually he gets to fight Sub-Zero, and that's it. It shouldn't be the end of the movie. It shouldn't be the finale, because, you know, I don't know. And yeah, the idea is Scorpion kills Sub-Zero, and then Sub-Zero's brother comes back and assumes his identity, and Scorpion's pretty upset about this, naturally. Meanwhile, the original Sub-Zero becomes Noob Saibot, who's like a shadowy Grim Reaper figure, also from the Nether Realm. The Nether Realm is basically, you know, where you go when you die, where tortured souls are put out of their misery or whatever. It's weird. It's dark. It's grim. It's basically hell. Yeah, and Scorpion, he's got all these pyromancer powers from the Nether Realm. He takes off his mask. He's got a fucking skull head and he breathes fire. It's neat. It doesn't need to make sense. It just needs to be cool. But as far as like how violent it is, I mean, yeah, the movie was violent. I feel like that wasn't enough to save it, in my opinion. And sequel bait, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the sequel bait stuff. The cinematic universe. Nothing needs to be a cinematic universe. Not everything does anyway. I don't know. Sub-Zero. He was pretty scary in this movie, this newer one. In the other ones, he's kind of like a joke. Like, I always think Scorpion seems like he would be scarier. Just cause. Like, his name, his fire versus ice, you know? He's got white eyes. I don't know. What else was I going to talk about these movies and these games? There was the very hard to find. I don't think you can find it anyway, but there was a Mortal Kombat live tour. This was like around the time Part 3 came out. This is when it started to, you know, everything gets Godfather syndrome, you know, where Part 3 shows up and it just starts to shit the bed. And Mortal Kombat also did that with the games. Like, once 3 showed up, it was like starting to go downhill. But that was where Part 3 is where competitive gaming started entering. So that's why Mortal Kombat 3 was popular, because people were actually like doing tournaments with Part 3, because Part 3 had combos. And, you know, like with these Capcom fighting games like Street Fighter, and they are very combo heavy. It's not just random button pressing. There's like crazy string attacks you can do. And Part 3, Mortal Kombat, was the first one to really do that. Because when you were doing combos in the first and second game, you're basically testing the mechanics of the game and seeing how much you can get away with juggling people. But Part 3 was actually like chain attacks. There are string attacks and brutalities and all this stuff. Animalities, friendships, babalities. It was stupid. It's just like jumping the shark a little bit. What else? as far as like part 4, that's the first 3D Mortal Kombat game, and it was also not well received. I mean, it was, but it's not as, it didn't have that awe-inspiring. I guess it's like when the first Jurassic Park movie comes out, everyone's stoked to see the dinosaurs for the first time, but every dinosaur movie after that, it's like, okay, more dinosaurs, cool. Like, it doesn't have that wow factor those first 2 games had, but despite being in 3D, and I feel like the fact that it was in 3D was kind of one of the few, it made it one of the really poorly aged games, because the bad polygonal graphics didn't age well compared to some of the other older games. And on top of that, like, they tried to incorporate 3D, like 360 arenas, which is, a logical step. So instead of the characters just fighting in a line right to left, they can fight in full 360 arenas with, that's a cool concept. But it just didn't feel like Mortal Kombat. It feels more like Fatal Instinct or something, And then I didn't play any of these other games. Shaolin Monks, Mortal Kombat, Deadly Alliance, Mortal Kombat. What's the other one? There's one more. Devastation? And then there's Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And then Mortal Kombat 9 came out. And like I said to Donovan, that was like the first 3 games combined into one reboot. And it does a great job of showing you, and that's the problem with this new movie, is like, if you're familiar with the lore, it seems like it was a pretty cut and dry story that you could adapt and make into something cool. The first tournament happens. First movie is pretty dead on. 9 tournaments. The fate of Earthrealm is at stake with his 10th tournament. Prince Goro is the ringer for Outworld. He's whooping everyone's asses. No one can beat him. He's the grand champion. And despite all odds, this ragtag of Earthrealm heroes, they managed to survive the tournament, and Liu Kang manages to make it to the final round, defeat Goro, and defeat Shang Tsung. Earthrealm is saved. The end. I think Sub-Zero is really the only one who dies in the first tournament of these main characters. That's the other thing, is you got to create your characters like Cole Young and these other characters, these new characters, to die. You got to have like, okay, so there's like 100 fighters maybe. All right. Out of all those 100, like only 7 of them like survive, like that's the idea. Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Jack, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Baraka, Jax. You can inquire all these secondary characters from the second game too, but like, you create these newer characters or these lesser desired characters even from other games. You shoehorn them in there so they can die. Kung Lao, he's actually a big deal, and you shouldn't really have him die in the first movie. He could die in the second one after we got to know him a little bit better, but like, Sub-Zero, the first Sub-Zero, he's the only one that really dies in the first one. And then, like I said, he doesn't die. He comes back as Noob Saibot. So, characters don't really start getting killed until the end of part 3, and the idea is part 2 is 10 tournaments have now gone down the drain, and Shao Kahn is going to kill Shang Tsung as punishment. And Shang Tsung, who is old and withered, he comes up with a proposition, a deal. Like, we are going to approach Earthrealm and say, we're going to change the rules of Mortal Kombat. We're going to do one new Mortal Kombat 2, and it'll be held in Outworld this time instead of Earthrealm, and it's all or nothing. If you win, if you lose, we'll absorb Earthrealm right away. If you win, Shao Kahn will release his claim to it forever. Naturally, Raiden tells him to fuck off. Shang Tsung, who has now been rejuvenated. Shang Tsung has been de-aged, and that's something that none of the movies do right. Is Shang Tsung should be old at first, and then eventually he gets rejuvenated. And that's when he actually looks like big and muscular and imposing. He's actually a scary looking guy. especially when he had that black face paint on in part 3. Although he did wear like yellow spandex, so whatever. But Shang Tsung convinces eventually Earthrealm to do this Outworld tournament because basically their world's just constantly under attack if they don't. And what happens is Liu Kang wins again. Not only does Liu Kang beat Kintaro, but he also beats Shao Kahn. And I think that's the idea that they kind of undersell in this new movie and in the last movie is Liu Kang is the greatest fighter on Earth. And no one knows who the hell he is. He's just some like Chinese monk farm guy. And that's the idea. That is who the greatest fighter on Earth would be. He wouldn't be some Navy SEAL. He wouldn't be some celebrity. He would be some monk who's trained his whole life for this tournament. You could shoot fireballs out of his hand for crying out loud. And that's the thing is I'd rather, like with the new movies, they don't explain why you can shoot fireballs out of your hand. It's just magic. It just happens. But in this one, they tried to explain it, and it was very like midichlorians. It just reeked of midichlorians to me. This arcana. You will unlock your arcana. And I guess that's fine. Yeah, why can a guy shoot fireballs out of his hand? Or a woman can shoot lasers out of her arm. However, it doesn't work for every character. Kano, his laser eye comes from the fact that he has a mechanical implant in his face. It is technology. It's not magic. Kano's eye. Kano can do this like cool cannonball attack where he can like spin. He can like hurl his spinning body. He'll like somersault in the air and hurl his back at you as he like that. I don't understand how that attack works, but that's something that's kind of super powered. But other than that, he's just a guy who's got a plate in his eye that shoots a laser out of it. And then other than that, he just kills people with big fucking knives. He's a vicious killer. He uses guns and knives and bombs, maybe. He's not a magic man. His laser eye isn't magical. Sonya Blades, I guess you could argue that her plasma laser attack could be magical, but it's better if you just don't explain it. Like she just gets so pissed, she shoots a laser out of her arms, and it's like, whoa, I did it. You don't make this whole movie like just like them training to unlock their superpowers and then hoping that Shang Tsung's henchmen won't assassinate them before the tournament. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is there is no actual fucking Mortal Kombat in the Mortal Kombat movie. This new one. I don't understand how there is no Mortal Kombat in this. Like the whole thing's called Mortal Kombat and it's all talking about Mortal Kombat, but technically the actual Mortal Kombat never happens. And still we've already got Goro dead, Sub-Zero's dead, Reptile's dead, Kano's dead. Who else is dead? Melina's dead. That vampire winged bitch is dead. Ryoko's dead. He's a Mortal Kombat 4 character. So much for that. Who else died? Cabal is dead. They're all dead. You haven't even started the tournament. What are you going to do for the sequels? Like, by the time Mortal Kombat 3 rolls around, all the characters from Mortal Kombat 3 have already been introduced and killed off in the first 2 movies. Is that what? That's not going to work. It's not going to work. But that's what I was saying. You can't have a Mortal Kombat movie and have no one die. So this is why you invent characters like Cole and maybe Sonya's got a partner named Jeremy or something. And these guys would get perfect for getting killed. It'd be perfect for them. Yeah. Anyway, I wonder. Yeah. Kano was funny, but like I said, Johnny Cage could have delivered all of those jokes. Maybe a little less mean-spirited, but all those great funny moments from Kano, that would have been perfect as Johnny Cage delivering them. And then also all the exposition that's given to Cole, that would have been great given to Johnny Cage. So combine Kano and Cole into one character and replace Cabal with Kano and save Cabal for another movie. I mean, that just seems like rudimentary fixer-up stuff. But then again, it's like, who cares? Who cares that this stuff is different or you know, not as good as the original? It's a video game. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, if you're trying to make sequels, if you're trying to keep doing these, then you got to do it right. Because now you're just kind of jumbling up things for later. You're kind of setting yourself up to write yourself into some serious corners later. Like, I guess Liu Kang's now got to beat Kintaro. Or, I mean, honestly, if the sequel starts and Cole gets killed right away, I'd be so happy. That'd be great. Cole gets killed and he's replaced with Johnny Cage. That would work. We get to know Cole and we watch him get brutally ripped in half by Kintaro. Fine. And then Liu Kang has to beat Kintaro and Shao Kahn. No, I mean, we still haven't fought Shang Tsung yet. Maybe Shang Tsung can bring Goro back from the dead. That would be fine. Because that is something that would work better in the Mortal Kombat universe, is rather than have characters not die and have the audience feel cheated, you can actually kill them and then have people like Raiden and Shang Tsung and Quan Chi resurrect them, or like Quan Chi did, or Shinnok did. He turned them into like revenants. He turned the dead characters into like, you know, like Scorpion. He's a specter. Undead, if you will. But I mean, I'm just over here sitting here talking to myself about Mortal Kombat. I don't know. What do I know? Just waiting for Max to get in here. I invited a few people before the show started and they were like, I'm down. And now Donovan, he was only here for an hour. Bless him. He's a teacher, poor guy. And now I'm just wondering where Max is. I saw some other people posting that they just saw the movie, but that they liked it. So I don't want to have someone come in here and just have me explain to them why their opinion's wrong. Your opinion's right. You're allowed to like. I also like the new movie, but I didn't like it also for various nerd reasons. But yeah, Shang Tsung, I guess we still have to fight Shang Tsung. Yeah, like I said, maybe Shang Tsung can bring back Goro from the dead. Maybe some of these people can die brutally and get resurrected. And that would be our little, you know, and some characters can't get resurrected, you know, who knows? Kung Lao, his soul was stolen, so he can't get resurrected. But I did like how Kano made fun of his stupid hat powers. Like, you might have a power of a magic hat. Although Kung Lao, he can teleport, can't he? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people can do these superpowers. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like you guys are like, it's like shooting a fireball out of your hand doesn't sound that hard to me. Like, you know, like you guys ever stare at your hand like hard enough and you guys just like, you know, you guys never produce flames or plasma or hot glowing lights from your hands? I mean, we all do, right? So, I mean, you know, sometimes before I'm going to bed, like if I have to go outside, you know, some mugger is coming out at me or a raccoon with rabies, you know, you just bust out one of these, you know, you just kind of do one of these Hadouken things and you just kind of get away from me, get away. You know, everyone does it. Everyone does that shit where you have your magic superpowers. And I don't understand why they made it such a big deal in this new game or this new movie to where it's like the whole point of the movie is them acquiring these dumb powers. It's like everyone's got these dumb powers. Flying kicks. I do flying kicks all the time. But anyway, big problems. Goro, like I said, I gotta say that's probably my least favorite part of the movie. It's how bad Goro was wasted. So unless they bring him back from the dead, I really don't know how they're gonna fix it. I mean, you can't just replace him with Kintaro. Kintaro is cool, but he's not Goro. Let's see here. Oh, how sad. I'm sorry, I'm getting emailed graphic design crimes. Anyway. Yeah. The biggest problem I had with the new Mortal Kombat movie, Max, you made it, my friend.
What's up, dude?
How is your new hotel?
I have a bed full of shit, and then I have
You shit your
the
bed
that I sleep
Oh.
in.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
shit bed, and
Like
I have a
stuff
normal
bed.
bed. Yeah,
a bed for stuff. I thought you were saying you shit your bed was filled with feces right now as you were laying in it.
figuratively and literally.
Nice. You filled the diaper. Where are you now?
All the way to the top. Las Vegas, New Mexico still.
Okay. How's Josh Brolin?
He's good, man. He's good. It fucking snowed on us all day today, so that fucking sucked. But other than that, it's been pretty chill.
Oh. Courtney Creighton saying hi, Max. Hi, Courtney.
All right, Courtney.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Mortal Kombat, dude.
Yes. Did you watch the new movie?
I did. I finished it. It took me a week to watch it because I fall asleep so fast. But
It's not.
it was all right.
My buddy Donovan was in here a minute ago. We talked for an hour about it and the games and stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, basically didn't like it. Didn't like it. I feel like the more you know about the games, the less you like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun to watch, but it wasn't great. And we were just talking about how bad Goro was.
Yeah, that was bad.
Goro looked great.
Yeah, Goro was
but
bad.
he looked great, but like you're going to use him off as a henchman assassin in the first movie and he's going to get killed. Like, what are we going to do? That's the thing I had a problem with. There's no actual Mortal Kombat in the Mortal Kombat movie. The whole thing is like, it's all training and assassination attempts, and it ends with a fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That's the other thing we were talking about. Scorpion is great, but he's not a finale. He's not a, his character is not the big, like we don't even know Shang Tsung's still running around. I don't.
Yeah, and Liu Kang never once busted out any nunchucks either.
Yeah, I don't think Liu Kang has nunchucks, but Liu Kang did not kick as much ass as he was supposed to.
He did do like the bicycle kick thing once.
Yeah. He did like they did a good job of shoehorning in the moves, shoehorning in some attacks and some cool fatalities. And yeah, it was
There
violent.
was a lot of
I liked the humor in the movie. There was a lot of good jokes. Like everything Kano said basically was funny. But what I was saying earlier was like, take this terrible Cole character, and because the idea is like Kano's making all these jokes. Well, Johnny Cage could easily make a lot of these jokes, just like less mean-spirited.
Yeah.
And then as far as all the exposition they're giving to Cole, that could also be Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is getting all the exposition. He's the fish out of water, the Hollywood actor who doesn't know. He's out of his element. He doesn't know what he's doing. He thinks he's doing some fighting tournament to boost his career. He doesn't realize the balance of the fate of Earth is in the balance,
Dude, the main character, like the guy, who is he supposed to be? Like, what kind of superpower is that having? Like
brand new,
like the iron.
He's a brand new character just for this dumb movie. Just so, because I guess they thought the audience was too stupid to understand without it being told to them. So they thought, oh, well, we'll just create a new character to stand in for the audience. But like I said, that's Johnny Cage already.
Yeah.
And then they were saying another reason why they replaced Johnny Cage was they didn't want another white male protagonist. But anyone who plays the game knows that Johnny Cage isn't the protagonist. Liu Kang is. Liu Kang's the one who wins the tournament and beats Goro and that's what I was saying earlier was like Liu Kang is the greatest fighter on earth. Like we don't realize that until he starts really doing what he does in the tournament. The idea is like this, you know, US Navy SEAL Special Forces, they're not the greatest fighters on earth. This Hollywood actor isn't the greatest fighter on earth. These ninjas aren't the greatest fighters on earth. Who is the greatest fighter on earth? This little monk, this Chinese monk who lives, you know, that's so cool. Like the guy who's quiet and peaceful. He's like the fastest and youngest, I think, in the entire tournament. And he's just a little farm boy from China. Remember that?
Yeah.
Did you ever?
Yeah. I feel like they made him look like a little bitch in that movie too.
I said earlier, I was like, I wish they had recast pretty much everyone in that movie, but Liu Kang especially looked like kind of a little too feminine or boyish. Whereas like Robin Shou and Jason Scott Lee, they're like, you know, they're more masculine, like manly Chinese dudes. Like, you know, I don't know. There's something about this new Liu Kang. He was a little like, he seems soft, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Jax, yeah. What are some of your other thoughts on this movie? I mean, as someone, were you a big fan of the games or kind of?
I think like I obviously played like the ones that were on like Sega and like the ones that were like and like arcades. Like I definitely played. Let's say that like in college, I think freshman year of college, we bought the Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which was fucking sick, by the way. And that's why I'm thinking they have a Mortal Kombat Armageddon. So they had weapons and like, you know, you could switch between fighting styles and weapons.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Liu Kang had fucking nunchucks because those were his weapons. And that shit was
you're right. Oh, and then they did Zombie Liu Kang because that was the idea. Is like, I didn't play any of these games between 4 and 9 really, but I'm familiar with them. But yeah, at some point after 4, Shinnok loses, and then in Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks was a prequel. That's like a story mode thing between Kung Lao and Liu Kang after the first tournament. And then the one that takes place after that, Deadly Alliance. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi join forces and kill Liu Kang and Shao Kahn at the beginning of the game. So Liu Kang is dead. And that's the idea. He comes back as a zombie, yes. But the idea that Liu Kang's such a great fighter, the only way you could fucking kill him was have like, it was Tanya from Mortal Kombat 4. She literally betrays him and kills him at the end. That's like her story is canon. She's like this random female fighter who wears yellow, and she was actually a very powerful fighter in Mortal Kombat 4. In fact, usually the female characters are the best fighters if you play the game. Like in Mortal Kombat 1, Sonya's the fucking best, even though I love Shang. Scorpion is my favorite character of all time in all the games. I always love to be Scorpion.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about fighters that have actual advantages over other characters, like Sonya in the first one, Katana in the second one, in the third one, it was like Katana and Sonya. I mean, they're consistently like really, really good to use. Like whenever you're talking about competitive gaming, Mortal Kombat 3 and onwards is where people started playing them like competitively. The first 2, not so much, but like a lot of people were doing well with the female characters.
I'm surprised we didn't have any like the scantily clad female characters in this one either. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's not cool anymore. We were talking earlier. I've showed it twice already, but Sonya's costume in Part 9. And I mean, I'll show you Katana's outfit in Part 9. It's like, you know, it's not just like they're scantily clad. It's like they have huge, like heaving breasts. Like it's like, what the hell? But I was gonna say it makes sense. I was saying earlier, it makes sense when characters. Jesus Christ! Like at my fucking stream, I get shut down for showing this shit. It's so funny. But like at the same time, like if I had to fight this bitch and she had like fucking knife fans coming at me, like I'm not going to be noticing like her. I'm just going to be staring right here and she's going to cut my head off quickly. I'm going to be like, hello. Am I supposed to fight her? And then like, by the time I realize what's happening, she's already cut my arm off with a Razor fan, and I'm just like, oh my god. And you know, there's something like it doesn't work with Sonya so much. Like in Sonya's costume, it's ridiculous. I'll show it for the third time. But it makes no sense why she would be wearing this, because she's like a special forces lady. Like, why would she be wearing just like a vest with nothing underneath it? And like, that doesn't make sense. But with like Melina, she's like a fucking evil demon woman who will literally drink your blood and eat your flesh. So like I said, like it's cool when like Melina like, you know, rips your throat out and then rubs her bloods all over her tits and like she's like all sexy about it. It's demented, you know, it works with her character. But I feel like with Sonya and some other characters like Sindel should be sexy as hell, because she's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill you and look good doing it. Like, I don't give a shit. And it's just there is this appeal about like the scantily clad women like viciously murdering people with like knives and shit. It just makes it that much more, you know, not naughty, but just like more adult. Like this chick is here entering a tournament where people fight to the death. So if she wants to dress like this, like, I'm certainly not gonna say no.
Wow.
Like, the idea is people are literally cutting each other's heads off. Like, if you want to fight butt naked, that's totally fine. Like, I don't give a shit. Avoid the sharp edges, like, you know?
I always took Scorpion to be like a fucking really bad guy too. Like, like the ending part of it, I always took Scorpion to be like a bad guy instead of fighting.
Scorpion is a bad guy. Scorpion's a bad guy who turns good. He's not like a good guy through and through who's just trying to avenge his death. And, you know, he's not RoboCop. He is fucking Godzilla. You know what I mean? He's a bad guy who you want on your side. And that is cool. Like in Mortal Kombat 11, when, you know, Scorpion joins the side of Raiden and Liu Kang and the Earthrealm fighters, because there's like more at stake here, you know? But back to this costume here. It's like, what I see here is a fucking woman with confidence. Okay. That's like the first thing I see. All right. After the giant breasts and stuff. But like, the point is, like, if this chick is like in a fighting competition, it's like, okay, this woman is sure of herself, or at the very least, like, very distracting to fight. Like, you know, I wouldn't know what to do here. But it's just like the same thing with Johnny Cage, like fighting with his shirt off. Now he's got like Johnny tattooed across his chest in huge calligraphic letters. It's funny. Liu Kang, it's just everyone's sweaty. Everyone's like fucking sweaty. And I mean, it's like a sexual act. The idea of like fist fighting, you're getting in the ring, you know, it's like a metaphor, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
You know, yeah, if we're gonna theory that I might have about that new Mortal Kombat is like, I felt like a lot of, like, I feel like they're more staging it for future ones to come out, because I feel like a lot of like the characters that they busted out, like Kung Lao, for instance, like I always like in the games, I always thought to him to not be one of the best characters, or like fucking Reptile and fucking what's that dude's name with the fucking like the robot dude with the gas mask, Cabal. Like, they were never like top tier picks for me. You know what I'm saying?
But the problem is, like, if your plans are to do all these sequels, then why are you burning through all these sequel characters, when what you should be doing, your Coles, create a bunch of those characters. Like Sonya's got a partner named Michelson, and he's coming along. Like, all these new characters that we don't know, they can all be killed brutally, you know, and then save some of the actual heavy hitter game characters for later, maybe. I don't know, but this is the problem with making everything a cinematic universe. The idea of making every movie some origin story or a sequel bait to another movie that's going to be better and bigger. And it's just like, how about you make this movie bad and good and great and big and awesome? Like, why don't stop? Like, you know, we don't have to like walk up these baby steps. Like, here's the first movie. We'll give you a few little breadcrumbs of, you know, basically the whole movie is them just learning how to get their powers and avoiding not getting assassinated by Shang Tsung, who's cheating, by the way. Like, that's not allowed to kill all the fighters. I did like this idea that, like, I mean, I don't like this idea that you're born with a symbol on you. That's stupid. But the idea that if someone's chosen to fight in the tournament and you kill them, surprise, you have to go fight in this tournament. Like the idea that Kano getting involved in this through that, like that's cool. But the idea that he's like helping the good guys all the way, like they should get to the island. Kane, instead of Cabal, that should have been Kano. That character should have been Kano. And then Sonya would have this like history with him, you know, like, and then instead of Kano and Cole, you combine them and that's Johnny Cage. And that's like your fucking perfect story. And then instead of Cole saving the day and bringing back Scorpion at the end, Scorpion should just be around being a badass, kill Scorpion, like fighting Sub-Zero. That shouldn't be the climax of the movie. That could be like close to the climax. That's definitely like some third act stuff. But like I said, it's like you're just giving us all these baby crumbs, you know, like you're going to have the Scorpion Sub-Zero fight be the finale, but it doesn't even take place in the tournament. It takes place in some gym in America. It's like, why? I don't know. What do I know? This is all like nerdy nitpicking. As far as like an actual movie goes, I'm sure like anyone who isn't familiar with the movie would have no problems with any of the stuff I just said. You know what I mean?
They need to have a Bo Rai Cho appearance in one of them.
Bo Rai Cho is hilarious, but he's the one who trained Liu Kang.
Like this
Kung Lao.
master.
Yeah, he's like the drunken master who like pukes and farts and does all this obscene shit.
That's true. He does do that.
But Jackie Chan kicks ass because like he would do the drunken master so well.
Yeah.
But like Bo Rai Chow is basically this drunken master who trained Liu Kang and Kung Lao, but that doesn't make a ton of sense because you would think Kung Lao and Liu Kang would also fight drunken master style if that were true. But I guess they developed their own methods. I don't know. But Bo Rai Chow, he was fun. And he was also a very strong player. Like if you picked him, he had some great advantages. Like he would puke on the floor and you'd slip on it and shit. It was ridiculous. Because these games were constantly testing the limit of like how violent and how gross they can get. Like once we started getting into like the newer games, like 9, 10, and 11, the fatality that's in those is like, it's ridiculous. They're graphic to say the least.
Like ripping out spines.
Yeah, but like graphically rendered, you know, like really, it looks great. It's like, holy shit. Like when you cut a guy in half and then like you hold both ends up, like all the stuff inside kind of falls out. It's gross. That's the other thing is like, maybe we need to start incorporating more shit, like feces. Like when you rip a dude's stomach open, a bunch of shit spills out. That's something that like we don't talk about. But that's why like when you're gutting animals, you try not to, you take all that out, you try not to pierce it, you know? So let's have more. If we're going to make a rated R graphic Mortal Kombat movie, let's get real obscene with it. But I like the idea that, they are doing that. I mean, the guy who made this shit is like, he makes horror movies, you know?
Yeah. That, I was severely like, I wouldn't say I was like, it was nice seeing a new movie that had fucking Mortal Kombat and all this fucking brutal fighting and shit. But I think it was definitely underwhelming. You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, the thing is, I enjoyed watching it when I watched it, but I was definitely laughing audibly about how bad it was. And again, it was all because like I'm a nerd and I know this Mortal Kombat lore, and I'm just like, oh, bad choices. But there were a few things that I feel like I said, there were things I liked. The jokes mostly, a lot of the humor worked, and the reptile scene was cool. But things that I know were also bad, even if you weren't a fan of the movies, like the fucking orchestral bum 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 bum, like in the big climax or whatever when they're fighting, like that was cheesy as hell. Bad music, bad editing too, but great acting though. I liked Kung Lao's performance and Kano's performance. I liked some of these other actors' performances, but I would have liked them recast. Raiden didn't look great. Luke. The idea that Kano's eye is magic, that was stupid as hell. He's supposed to have it's technology. It's not like everyone's got this like superpower, find the force type thing. The Arcana, they called it. It was like midichlorians all over again. Yeah, that was fucking bullshit. I didn't like that either. It's like
Kano's
how is
eye.
Bo Rai-
Of all the things,
Yeah, Bo
that's
Rai
the
chose
least.
because it's like he just gets drunk.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is these are trained fighters. They've trained, and the idea is when you bust out, when you will it into power, you know, you fucking produce like magical shit. That's the whole appeal. It's like they don't know how it works. That's even better. That would have been so much better if it was like we don't know. You unlocked it. We all got it. But yeah, you did it. It's just like, you know, when you just kind of like, yeah, you do it and it rocks. And you have like fire coming out of your hands and shit, like randomly. I think when people would see that and they'd be like, all right, he's doing something right.
What about Noob Saibot? Is he going to come back, you think?
Well, that's the idea, is the first Sub-Zero is Noob Saibot. Like, he gets killed, and then he comes back as Noob Saibot. And Noob Saibot is one of those fucking...
I guess that's...
He's one of those... yeah. Go ahead.
No, I guess that's a good point. He is Sub-Zero.
Yeah, and then Sub-Zero's little brother, he's Tundra, and he takes the original Sub-Zero's name is Bihan, and I can't remember what his brother's name is. It starts with an L, but his name was Tundra, and he's also a cryomancer. The idea is he's younger, he's just as skilled fighter, if not better, but he is not nearly as like evil as Sub-Zero was. Sub-Zero was vicious and cold and a killer. And I did like, that was one of the few things this movie got right, is Sub-Zero was fucking scary. And I think a lot of people don't assume that Sub-Zero is supposed to be scary. He's a fucking ninja. He's a killer.
Yeah. He came
but Scorpion should be equally scary.
He came through and fucked all those people up with his like frozen like hail attack thing on like that diner.
Yeah.
That was
He's
pretty
like,
badass.
but that's the idea. You send Sub-Zero to Earthrealm to kill humans, assassinate humans. You send Scorpion. You send Reptile. You don't send Goro.
Right.
Goro would be sitting there in his lair and just look at Shang Tsung and be like, fuck you. You know, ask someone else. If they got a problem with me, they know where to find me. I'm fucking Goro. I'm not going to do your dirty work. Like, I'm Goro. I'm literally
King Goro or Prince Goro, what they called him, right?
Yeah. And if for some reason Goro finds it in his heart to decide to do it, he would kill everyone. He would burst into that farmhouse, rip the mom in half, and then chuck like the right side at that small child, kill her, stomp on the child, and then fucking like kill Cole with like one blow. Just like grab him with one hand and then with the other three, just like start like pulling, you know, like it wouldn't even be, it'd be like me fighting an insect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why
like his first fight with his like superpowers, which is like a metal shirt. How do you like have that be like the first fight is fucking Goro and he pwns it, you know?
And then clearly it's like now I guess he's going to fight Shang Tsung because only the guy who could beat Goro could beat Shang Tsung. Because, and that's the idea, is like you're nerfing Liu Kang in order to prop up these new characters. And they did the same fucking thing with Star Wars and fucking this. They're doing it all over again where they introduce some new bullshit character, but in order to prop him up, we're going to dwarf the other characters a little bit, or at least one particular character, Liu Kang, and then remove Johnny Cage entirely. And it's like, why not just do what we want as fans? I gotta say, like, kind of in a tangent, what did you think about the Oscars this year? I don't think anyone gave a fuck about the Oscars this year.
I didn't watch them.
Yeah, lowest ratings ever. It's like 9 million people watched it. It's like 60% less than last year, which was the worst. And I gotta say, I saw Nomadland, which won Best Picture. I don't understand why that movie won Best Picture. It was good. Minari was way better. And on top of that, it was like, I don't need to see 60-year-old Frances McDormand living in a van, shitting in a bucket, working at Amazon. It's like these movies are not made for us anymore. They're made for them. Like they make them for themselves so they can pat themselves on the back and be like, yay, we did it. And it's like, meanwhile, the people that are trying to buy the shit and consume it, we don't want it. It's like they're literally feeding us shit. And like with this Mortal Kombat movie, it's like, bro, it was like so spelled out for you in the previous games. Like, just do what worked. You know, Johnny Cage, he's not the protagonist. He's Kurt Russell in Big Trouble in Little China. He's like the main character. He's the one that we relate to. He's the one that is like being explained everything. So we're being explained everything as the audience. But Johnny Cage is not the hero. Liu Kang is, and he's Chinese. So like, why? Like, all we talk about is how we want more diverse cast and Asian Americans, especially. Like, you know, it's so rare when and they were talking about this last year with Parasite and this year with Minari. Like, Asian-led movies are rare, or Asians being cast in lead roles that are not based around the identity of the fact that they're Asian. Liu Kang is like perfect for that. He's not, we don't focus on the fact that he's Chinese. He's a Shaolin monk from China, but we focus on the fact that he's pure of heart and he's the greatest fighter anyone's ever seen. He's fast as hell and he fucking shoots fireballs. He's a pyromancer. It's like, he's badass. And that's the thing is, like, I guess that would be great drama for a movie too. Like, I hate to just keep talking about woulda, coulda, shoulda, but the idea, like, imagine you have Liu Kang and he's like this like peasant farm monk from China. And then you've got Hollywood actor Johnny Cage and this U.S. Special Forces chick and guy. And you've got ninjas who fucking like freeze shit. And it turns out, and then you just keep watching this little Asian guy like whooping everyone's asses. And now everyone is suddenly like, their attention's on this guy. Who is this Liu Kang guy? The Shaolin monks. Yeah, the Shaolin monks have produced a fighter that's worthy enough to fight Goro. Like, holy God. That was the best part in part 9, the video game, when you finally fight Goro. He shows up and he's like, he literally walks up to Liu Kang. He's like, I didn't even expect to fight in this tournament, like, let alone fight a human. But he says something like, I guess even the Shaolin can produce a fighter worthy of a Shokan, which is what he is. But it's like, he's so cocky and arrogant. That's like one of the reasons why Liu Kang beats Goro, because Goro technically should win, but it's like a rabbit and hare thing where Goro, after winning 9 tournaments, he thinks he's got it in the bag, and he underestimates Liu Kang. He's not intimidated by him because he's just an Earthrealm warrior. Sorry, what?
We're like a David and Goliath situation.
Yeah.
Like a
right.
David and Goliath, you know?
Totally. I mean, this shit writes itself, man. Like, I'm just winging it here right now, just off of what I know off the games. And that what I'm explaining is a good story. There's, Johnny Cage's comic relief in the original movie works so well. Yeah, they went away from that because, well, the funny thing is they didn't. They had a lot more jokes in this movie, and it was all Kano delivering them. And he was funny as hell. And Cabal was also funny. Cabal says that line about Kano. He's like, he's a worthless, slimy piece of shit. You're going to love him. I was trying to place who Cabal sounded like. Cabal had like a weird, like, Jewish guy from New York accent. You know, it sounded like Lewis Black or somebody. I could not place who that voice was, but it was funny. I liked it. I didn't want to change it either. I liked how it was like, he sounded like, hey, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, I'm Cabal. How's it going? You know, forget about it, you know?
He definitely had like sleazy, like space bounty hunter vibes for sure.
Well, that's the idea. It's like he is a sleazy mercenary. Like, him and Kano are both mercenaries. They work for the Black Dragon, which is like a criminal organization that Kano is the head of. Cabal used to be in it, but I think I want to say I thought he was a cop. And see, in the games, Cabal is a good guy, but he was a bad guy. But it turns out he's like a cop. But in this one, he's just a straight bad guy, which I don't mind. I mean, Cabal, he's one of those characters that he could turn good eventually, and it wouldn't be a problem. But Cabal is also like a mercenary, and he's in that suit because he was in some kind of bad, like, burning accident or something. He's kind of got like a Darth Vader vibe. Like, that's why his costume is like that. But Cabal being, you know, this like henchman in the first movie Like it was nice, it was neato, but now that he's dead, it's like fuck. I wish they did more with him. Reptile too. I guess you could have another Reptile. You could bring Reptile back. Or I was saying earlier, you can kill off these characters. It would work if maybe in the next one Shang Tsung like brings back Goro, like resurrects him or something. Like that could work because it's like magic and sorcery. So fine, but it would make the deaths kind of cheapen. But that's better than not killing anybody at all. Because I get it. You got to have your fatalities. So who do you kill? Sub-Zero dies. He turns into Noob Saibot.
Yep.
But like, who else dies? Kano dies. Sonya's got to kill Kano. Right. But after he wins the first 3 tournaments. That's the thing. That's how awesome he is. Not only does he beat Goro and Shang Tsung, then he beats Kintaro and Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn was fucking badass, dude.
Shao Kahn, I remember, like, he was one of the few guys that would like make me want to fucking rage quit, dude.
It's like, how do I beat this fucking thing?
Not rage quit, like throw the controller, but definitely like, all right, I'm done playing. I'm done. I'm gonna turn this off now. Like, that's how I rage quit. I'm like, fuck this. I've lost like 100 times. And then his taunts were the best. Mortal Kombat 3, he'd just like taunt you, and you'd get all these free, like, he'd literally taunt you and give you a free hit, and he'd still whoop your ass. He'd just be like, you will never win. Or pathetic. Or the best is when he just laugh at you. That's the worst. Like, you go fucking, you know, you give someone a shadow kick right in the chest, and he's just like, like, he would just be like, oh shit. All right. He's about to whoop my ass, isn't he? Dude, that reminds me of a fight I saw in high school. I'm not going to say who, but it was like I watched a guy kick a much bigger dude in the chest. That was his first move. They're going to, like, let's throw down. They're like running up to each other, and the little guy just like foot out, kick him in the chest, and the big guy like got pushed back like 2 feet. But he just gave him this look like, oh my God, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. And then they like wrestled around for like, yeah, it was, he literally did the head shake and smile like that as he was like charging him after getting kicked in the chest. It was hilarious. He was literally like, I'll fucking full screen myself, where he was like, he literally was like, he gets kicked in the chest and he looks down and he's just like, oh, I'm going to enjoy. It was like, I remember thinking like, oh my God, he's about to get fucking his ass beat.
That's hilarious.
But then they just wrestled around for like a few seconds, and then the little guy was like, all right, you won, fine, I'm out of here.
But at least he got that kick to the chest in.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like he almost knocked the wind out of him. I mean, he kicked him in the chest, but when a guy's that big, he's just like, oh, you're a little feisty little one, aren't you? You know, like, it's like Bane in Dark Knight Rises, dude. He's so great in that movie.
Yeah.
My favorite is when he just like, that's like something Shao Kahn or Goro. Like, Goro is so cocky. Like, that's something Bane, like when Bane, he puts his hand on that dude's shoulder like this. Like, the little guy's like, get out of here. I'm in charge here. I say, listen to me. And then Bane just like puts his hand on his shoulder like this. Like, just the back of his hand. Just like gently like rests it like right here. He just like gently like puts it on his neck. And he just looks at him. And he's like, do you feel in charge? Or he says it in his Bane voice. Obviously, like, do you feel in charge? He's like, I paid you what does he say? He's like, I paid you a small fortune. He's like, and this gives you power over me. Like, Bane was good in those movies, in that movie. I you know, it wasn't the best of those 3 Batman movies, but Bane was pretty kick-ass. But that's how like Shao Kahn and Goro should be. They're like dignified warriors with like honor, but they're brutal murderers. They will fucking kill you. And Shao Kahn, he's less honorable, obviously. He's a bastard, but he's vicious tyrant, you know. He wasn't even in this movie, obviously, so. But Shang Tsung, he was miscast also. Shang Tsung should be, I was saying he should be more handsome. Like, he should be like a fucking, also a ripped Asian dude. Like, Donovan was saying the guy who played Liu Kang in the first movie, he could have played Shang Tsung in this new one. And I was like, dude, that's a great idea. That would have been great. Robin Shu. But like, let's go over here when I look at Shang Tsung's awesome like transformation. Because I mean, it's not just like the other Mortal Kombat characters. They change their costumes in each game. Their costumes get cooler or less cool, I guess. But most of them, their costumes just change. But fucking Shang Tsung, like himself, he actually changes. Like,
I definitely think that the costumes in this one were way more badass. I just remember like the yellow and black foam costumes, like the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah. Or we were talking about Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Those were the worst costumes. They look bad.
Yeah.
Matt Huff, what sub boss with the centaur? That's Motaro, and he was Mortal Kombat 3's heavy. He was the heavy in Mortal Kombat 3. Kintaro was the heavy in 2. Kintaro was basically Goro with tiger fur. And but Goro can also shoot fucking fireballs just like Liu Kang. That's the other thing. He fucking spits them out at you.
That is 100% accurate.
Yeah. Goro was a big deal. But like I said, that's probably the big reason why Goro lost to Liu Kang is because of hubris. But of course, all that is but yeah, I like how this Shang Tsung, he's old in the first one, and then Shao Kahn decides to listen to his bullshit, makes him younger again, and he looks cool. But like, I remember in Mortal Kombat 3, he had this he started rocking this like crazy face paint, and like just no shirt and long hair. He had like a ponytail. I mean, the guy looked cool. He was a goddamn evil sorcerer from, what did he look like in Mortal Kombat 2? In Mortal Kombat 2, he's young again, but he wears this funny little hat. Or is that a hat or a bandana?
I thought that in that movie, in the new movie, like Raiden's little like protective barrier around the Earth realm was kind of cheesy too. He's like, oh, we have to put the barrier up so these fucking noobs can fucking train. I thought that was dumb. They should have just had a fucking straight up tournament and just called it a deal.
Yeah, there's no tournament. And you know what I gotta say is like, this is a theme that we notice is like every fucking science fiction or fantasy movie in the past 20 years, I think since like the first Avengers movie, like they all have at one point a big white beam of light go into the sky. Every fucking movie, it's always got to have like some kind of bolt of energy or light or something just being shot up into the sky. It's a scene in fucking almost every movie. And of course, Raiden got to do his big white beam of light with that force field thing. And that's the idea. It's like, that's what's protecting you from Shang Tsung and his assassins. How about the fact that you guys are also dangerous fighters? That should be protecting you, So like the idea is like, it shouldn't just be like, hey, Shang Tsung, I'm here to fucking kill you with my henchmen. Raiden should be like, go for it. This idea that like, oh my God, Earth's fighters, they're all assholes who don't know what they're doing. And I got to train them Karate Kid style, how to do special moves. The movie should start on the fucking island. Mortal Kombat's already a thing and everyone's there and people already do special moves. And we don't know how Sonya shoots plasma out of her arm. It doesn't matter. She can just do it. Is it a gun? Who cares? Kano, he does fucking flips and he somersaults and he shoots his body. He lunges his body at you. It's like some of these attacks don't work in a movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I guess the white powder. Remember the movie Powder? They definitely had the white beam of light, right?
Yeah, I would love. You know how they always do in these new games? They have these new crossover characters like Alien, Predator, Freddy Krueger. Yeah. Who else has been in them? Jason. Kratos was a good one. Kratos from God of War. He fit perfectly in the Mortal Kombat universe, I feel. Who else was some good ones? I mean, they had other Mortal Kombat characters like Rain and stuff, but thinking about it, Powder would be a good one. Powder is a Mortal Kombat character. Who else would be a great Mortal Kombat edition? Hellraiser, fucking Pinhead, dude. That'd be cool.
Pinhead would fuck. So would Bruce Willis's character from Armageddon.
the oil driller. I showed you that video of like Ben Affleck doing the commentary, right? Did you watch that?
No.
Ben Affleck on the commentary for that movie is so funny. He like shits all over the movie while he's doing it. He's saying like, what does he say? He's talking like, oh, so I was telling Michael Bay, like, this movie makes no sense because, like, why would you train a bunch of oil drillers to be astronauts? Like, wouldn't it just be way easier to just train astronauts how to drill? And Michael Bay's just like, shut the fuck up, Ben. All right, just shut the fuck up and go over there. And Ben Affleck, it's so funny in the commentary. He's talking about, he's like, all right, well, all right. And then there's the scene where Bruce Willis is like explaining it to them, like how to drill. And he's like, oh yeah, this is where Bruce Willis gets to tell all the NASA nerdonauts that they don't know dick about drilling. This is the part. You see, he's a salt of the earth man, and he tells it like it is, and only his team can do it because they're the best. It's like, well, why are they the best? It's like they're just the best. They're the best. And it's like they don't know how to hit the pipe on a hot pressure cooker when they're drilling at a angle, and it's just so stupid. And he says, Ben Affleck, I remember he says, he's like, how hard could it be? You just point the drill at the ground and you turn it on.
That's
like, like how hard could it be? It's a drill. This is him in the commentary. This is like, I'm basically quoting him word for word. He's like shitting on it the whole like first half of the movie. But Ben Affleck, yeah, the NASA nerdonaut oil driller from Armageddon would be good. Fuck it, Steve Tyler from Aerosmith. Have Steve Tyler from Aerosmith. He like fucking impales you with a mic stand.
Yeah, his weapon's the mic stand. Yeah.
He like screams at you like Sindel, wow, on his mic and blows your ears out and shit. He has his finishing move is his giant mouth opens and he like swallows your head whole. Fucking, he has this huge mouth. It's like Carlsbad Tavern.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I went to Carlsbad Tavern this weekend. Is tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to go there all the time when I was in elementary school. Ash from The Evil Dead, Matt. That's a good one. I think that was a rumored one, wasn't it? That is a good one. Ash from Evil Dead would be fucking perfect.
Same with
come again.
The character from New York.
All right. You might be having connection issues, but kind of.
I'm definitely having connection issues.
No, you're good. Now I got you. Yeah.
Snake Plissken.
Oh, dude, that's a good one. Escape from New York. Not from Escape from LA, obviously.
Well, it's the same guy.
I know, but that sequel's bad. Yeah, I mean,
same with Captain Ron.
I watched Captain Ron the other day. Finally, rewatched it because we talked about it that one time, and I hadn't seen it since. But the shower scene, the Jamaican rebels, all that stuff. My mom loved it too. She thought it was funny as hell. And yeah, damn it, right? That Kurt Russell is a fucking sexy man. It's for real.
Yeah, he was in Tombstone. He played Wyatt Earp in fucking Tombstone.
Fuck yeah, he did. That's one of his best roles, man. But yeah. I was saying Big Trouble in Little China, that's like such a huge inspiration for Mortal Kombat. And like I was saying that earlier, like I'm going to talk about Big Trouble in Little China a lot, but it's like Lo Pan, Shang Tsung, those three storms are clearly Raiden, Wang, the Chinese guy, he's clearly Liu Kang. He's the main, he's the protagonist, the one who saves the day. And then Kurt Russell, that's your Johnny Cage. He's like the smart mouth American who is the main character, but he's not the hero. But he's the one that is fed all the information so we can be fed it vicariously. It's like, just do what Big Trouble in Little China did, but with a fighting tournament instead of a girl with green eyes. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, fucking, no, Jack Burton would get killed. Jack Burton would be like a better like Street Fighter character.
Very good Mortal Kombat character.
Who?
Edward Scissorhands.
Oh my god. Yeah, but he's too innocent. Like I don't really like. Yeah, he only killed one guy, and it was like he put himself in. You got to have someone like Deadpool or someone, you know, like Chucky, pretty much any horror character would work. Chucky, Jigsaw, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees was already in it. So was Freddy Krueger. That dude from fucking Silent Hill with the big fucking sword.
Yeah.
The triangle head.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, any horror character would work great in horror movies. Legend, Tim Curry. Who else would work? Yeah, I don't know. But whoa, man, what were some other issues I had? Sorry, what? The Hamburglar? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese.
Dude, I love how Chuck E. Cheese is so bold to have a restaurant where their mascot is literally a fucking rat. You know what I mean? Like, you ever think about that? Like, the balls on these people. Like, literally, that's your mascot, a fucking rat, and you serve food here. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna ask any questions. Whatever. I'm no marketing genius or anything. But if Chuck E. Cheese was like, I mean, I guess because rats eat cheese, right? But fuck. I mean, surely we could think of another animal that likes cheese, right?
Yes.
Fucking rats. But I remember that was one of the things I didn't like about Chuck E. Cheese. We had Peter Piper Pizza, and that was like I was saying, that was the first time I played Mortal Kombat 2. Was at a Peter Piper Pizza, and there was a crowd around it, like everyone, boys and girls, were all just like, "Whoa, what is this shit?" But Peter Piper Pizza was cool because you could play Mortal Kombat there. Chuck E. Cheese had only kid-friendly games, and also Peter Piper Pizza, you can buy beer there. My parents would be like, "Yeah, let's go to Peter Piper. Fuck it, we'll get a pitcher of beer and a hamburger pizza." Sounds good. Chuck E. Cheese does not sell beer. Is that correct?
No, they do. They sell beer. I've drank beer at Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, that's got to be like a new
There's
thing,
like a whole
because I remember
there's a lot of videos like the same people that go to Applebee's fighting each other at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, you got to have it cool for the parents, you know. And Peter Piper, the pizza was good. The pizza was good. And if you ever get those HEB, not frozen, but the refrigerated, ready to bake pizzas at HEB, the crust and the sauce is very similar to Peter Piper pizzas. So, but we used to get the bacon double cheeseburger pizza, and it was like bacon, cheddar cheese, tomatoes, onions, burger, and what else? I don't think pickles were on it, but I'm sure you could put pickles on it and it'd be great. But it was good. It's good ass pizza. And then like unlimited soft serve or whatever the fuck. Like I remember that was a thing. Like, just like, I got another ice cream cone. A lot of it was like Forrest Gump when he's in the hospital, like Lieutenant Dan, ice cream. But they also had the big play pit, you know, and Mortal Kombat 2, that was like right around the time where I was getting like too big for the play pit and stuff. I would still go in there, but like, yeah, no, I want to play Mortal Kombat now. I want to go to Peter Piper and not do the balls. I want to play Mortal Kombat 2 and watch people get their heads bitten off by lizard men.
Yeah.
But as far as this new movie, no, go ahead.
I like how, like, in like the original Mortal Kombat, it was all the same character, but just like different colors. Like Smoke was gray, and like Reptile was green.
Yeah, they have the sprites, and it's like it was really like, especially like even in Mortal Kombat 2, where there's like 12 characters, I think it was like 5 people who did all of them, and they just put them in different costumes, and like for like I think all the ninja outfits and all the girls, like they're all red. They film them all in red, and that's like the original color of all of them. And then in the game, they just, you know, color code him. They use him in a different stance for Sub-Zero. He stands like this when he's Scorpion, and then like they just change. Yeah, but if you watch the making of photos, you'll notice like all the characters are all wearing like mostly red. Like Nightwolf, instead of blue pants, he's got red pants. Shiva and Sindel and Melina, Katana, like they're all wearing just red. It's like a red outfit. And it's funny because like none of them are red in the game. Like it was only until Ermac in 3 trilogy. Ermac.
Yeah, what was Ermac? What was he? He was like a sorcerer or something, right?
If you watch part 9, Mortal Kombat 9 was a great. If you watch the story mode of Mortal Kombat 9, it's basically a remake of the first 3 games, and it really does a good job of like tying it together in a cohesive story. And what happened is that in this game, he's introduced in the first tournament, but regardless of that, what Ermac is he is a culmination of all of like a bunch of the stolen souls that Shang Tsung has like absorbed. So he's basically like turned these souls into like a body of flesh. And that's why he's kind of like this, like almost like he's like almost like a zombie with like green eyes, and he wears like a weird like ninja outfit.
Yeah.
In like part 9, he's like dressed kind of like a mummy, you know, because that was the idea is they stopped doing the red ninja, blue ninja, yellow ninja, green ninja, you know. By like Mortal Kombat 4, they started realizing like every character should have like a different costume and different look. And in these newer ones, man, like 9X and 11, the costumes are so great. Mortal Kombat 11, like all the Sub-Zero costumes are excellent. All the Scorpion costumes are cool. It just looks great. It looks real. And there's so many of them. There's so many variations because you can like customize them now. But yeah, there's like Sub-Zero where he looks like Shredder from Ninja Turtles, and he's got like big like fur like shoulder pads, you know. He's got like a Shredder helmet, and there's Scorpion where he has like, yeah, I mean like in this new movie he had that look where like the Grim Reaper look, but I kind of prefer the ninja look with the tight head, and then, you know, he's a ninja, you know. Ninjas should be wearing like stealthy, you know, tight-fitting clothes that are comfortable and maneuverable and tactical.
Tactical. Yeah, that's a key. Tactical.
But Scorpion's swords, that's like a huge thing. That wasn't really originally, but yeah, now Scorpion always just has he's got his spear and he's got his katanas. And now like his finishing moves, like he literally just cuts your head. He just cuts you in half with a sword sometimes. Like that's good enough for me. Like, you know,
finish him.
The fact that he's just back from the dead, you know, is just cool enough. Like, it's like, look, I don't have to do supernatural shit like every time. All right. Sometimes I just want to kill someone with a sword, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was also another cheesy thing about that new movie was like, how the fuck is Raiden gonna like abduct some baby and like raise the baby to become the spawn of fucking Scorpion and not have that every member of that family be fucking badass? You know what I'm saying? Like, where did he get lost? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said earlier, it's like Scorpion works better if he's like Boba Fett or Wolverine. He's like mysterious background supporting character who everyone just loves because he's so cool. But when you make him the central focus and the finale, it kind of it cheats Liu Kang and everyone else out because it just seems like cheap to just focus on Wolverine or Scorpion because they are the fan favorites. But like it's like a less is more approach. Scorpion, like he's already back from the dead at the beginning of the tournament. He's in the tournament, and like his whole motivation is to just kill Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is there to represent the Lin Kuei, and the Lin Kuei Ninja Clan. If they win the tournament, it's a great honor for them. So they elected Sub-Zero to go because he's their most ruthless fucking killer, you know? And one of the things he did was kill all of the Shin Ryu, who were Scorpion's friends and family. He was ahead of that. But you find out later that he was manipulated to do that through Quan Chi. Quan Chi used Sub-Zero to, you know, this is all like, you know, it's like a soap opera, you know? It's like so dense with like character drama. And it's just so funny when you're going to take all this great source material that hasn't been adapted in a movie yet, really. Because that's the thing is these first two movies were not great. And a lot of people, like, you can do it right. You can do it right and have people watch it and be like, that was fucking cool. Like, but this was not it. Most people walked out like, yeah, that was dumb and fun. And people got their heads squashed or whatever. And it was bloody. Sure. But you left feeling like unsatisfied still. Matthew, what do you think about the way they made Jack's arms look? Well, again, back with Kano's magic laser eye, I hated how Jax's arms were also magic. Like, they gave him, first of all, they gave him shitty, like, cyberpunk arms. And then after magic, they become badass metal Terminator arms. It's just one of those things where it's like, how about we just live? It's like a sci-fi thing where they have the technology to give him cool metal arms. They have the technology to give Kano a laser eye. They have the technology to give Cabal a suit, Darth Vader suit. Maybe it's Outworld technology. You know, who knows? It's magic. It's technology and magic. It's like, it's cool when those two things are combined. That's how you get like steampunk and shit like that. You know?
Right.
It's like Mortal Kombat has its own vibe. Mortal Kombat has its own tone and atmosphere and, like, you know, its own mood. You know, it's cool. It's unlike anything else, you know? It's Big Trouble in Little China times 10, you know? And like I said, this fusion of Asian meets American, this fusion of technology meets magic, this fusion of sexy meets hardcore graphic violence, this fusion of fighting and techno music. These things they only work together in Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? Because anything else that tries that is just ripping off Mortal Kombat. But that was another thing that Mortal Kombat really took the credit for, is like these action scenes. That was a huge thing in the 90s because of Mortal Kombat, was like techno music playing over action scenes. And that aged terribly. It doesn't. Yeah. The Matrix did it right, though, because it's like, when you put the techno music on, there's no drama. When the techno music's on, you feel like the good guy's going to win. The good guy's going to kick everyone's ass. It's going to be no problem because there's techno music playing, you know?
Yeah.
So you got to use that appropriately.
Yeah. They should have definitely, the animators that did Star Wars should have definitely helped out with the CGI on this new Mortal Kombat.
The special effects were great, and Goro looked great, and, you know, Scorpion and Sub-Zero looked cool, and I wasn't crazy about Sub-Zero's contacts, but, like, dude, I remember there were, like, parts that I noticed, like there's a scene where when Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting, they really are busting out a lot of moves. Like, fucking Scorpion's doing his harpoon all the time. There's the part where, like, he, like, puts the sword in the floor and then pulls Sub-Zero into the sword to where, like, he, like, his, like, midsection gets, like, rammed into the sword, and then he fucking uses harpoon to pull the sword up and, like, grab it. And that was cool. But there was literally a part where Sub-Zero does the ice clone. Did you notice that?
No, I did not notice.
It goes by real quick, but it's like Scorpion does, like, this torpedo spin kick. And if you look carefully, and they didn't really draw a lot of attention to it, but Sub-Zero basically, like, retreats to this fence and, like, leaves behind an ice clone, and Scorpion just, like, drill kicks right through it. And it's one of those things where it's like you knew you saw it, but you don't remember how cool that was because it happened so fast. And it's like those fight scenes were great. They were choreographed and they had a lot of special effects. And the other thing about the movie that's good is, like, it's these horror directors. They know how to work with a limited budget. They know how to make a movie that doesn't cost fucking $300 million every time. You can make these good movies on a fraction of that, and they'll make 10 times more profit because they didn't cost so much. And really using a lot with their budget there is what I feel like this movie did. But in terms of effects and stuff, you know. And I did like how there were a lot of good character moments where, like, Kano, when he's like, sorry, like Kung Lao say, he's like, sorry, only chosen ones may enter the training area. And Kano's just like, oh, fucking whoops. Like, there were some great lines. Or, like, when they first meet Kano and she's, like, telling him, like, I don't have a mark. And you hear Kano in the distance, he's like, womp, womp. Like, there were some great parts like that. And those were great lines for Kano, specifically for Kano. Like I couldn't see Johnny Cage delivering those lines. But Kano, I feel like he stole the show in such a degree. And then he gets killed by a garden gnome, which was dumb.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. He takes the garden gnome to the dome.
I mean, we get it. He disgraced the garden gnome earlier, so it was like a callback. But at the same time, like there should have been a line about Kano wanting to get between Sonya's legs. You know, that's what you do. You was like, oh, I'll get between them legs of yours, right? And then at the end, she kills him by choking him through his legs, or better yet, just snapping his neck, or fucking ripping him in half. Like that was one of her finishing moves. She would grab you by her legs and like lift you up and then fucking rip you in two ways. Like, how strong is her pelvis in order to do that? Like, that's like sexy. That's like that chick from GoldenEye who would like fucking have sex with you and she'd strangle you with her fucking legs. Xena Onatopp.
Yeah, that
played by
lady.
It was Femke Jensen. Yeah, she was great in that movie. That's what I was saying. Like, if I'm gonna get killed, it's like, yeah, by a hot half naked chick, please. Let's do that. If I'm gonna get stabbed to death, I'd rather get stabbed by a fucking chick with large breasts hanging out as opposed to a ninja with like solid white eyes. You know? I mean, both are equally cool, but I feel like I would be less bummed out getting stabbed to death by a fucking big-titted model, you know? Like, oh my God, this is awful. But, you know, but then again, the idea that, you know, like I said, if I had to fight to the death, it's like fight to the death with this person. All right, let's fight to the death. And then it's like your next challenger is this woman, Katana, and she comes out and she's just like dressed like that. And I'm just like, can you, okay. Like, what do I do here? This is, she has a huge advantage over me. It's like, I guess it's like, you know, take advantage of the fact that you, yeah, I mean, it's like you, I mean, let's be real here. A woman and a man in a fist fight, the man's probably going to win. So, I mean, yeah, if I was a woman, I would also try to do something to handicap my opponent. This is why weapons are the answer. Like carry a gun or a sword or a knife or a taser. Weapons. If you have a gun, then the playing field is more even, is leveled. Sonya, she has guns. She'll shoot you in the fucking face. Like, that's the thing. She's a special forces, U.S. Special Forces, looking for Kano, who's that's the great part, is like why they enter the tournament, you know? Sorry, what? I'm gonna come out real quick and come back in. Hang on.
All right. He's like a smuggler.
Sorry about that.
So what's the deal, man? Do you have that? So first off, I have shitty internet here.
No, yeah, I think after a while, see what I notice is like after there's like a little latency. So when I go for like 2.5 hours, the latency becomes like a little bit more drastic. So I feel like you're behind on a second or so. But if I come back in, I notice that goes away.
Well, I might cruise out of here pretty soon here. I'm fucking tired, dude.
Yeah, man, it's like we've been going through. We'll wrap it up in like 15 minutes, 10 o'clock. But what was I saying before I left so abruptly?
Oh yeah, about Kano. He was like a smuggler.
Oh right, yeah. So that's the saying is like the great backstories on why all these different characters go into the tournament, and it's like they did that great kind of with the first movie, but yeah, Sonya is going after Kano. He's a criminal, and Jax is going after Sonya because she is like, you know, you're going off grid. You're not listening to command. You know, I know where Kano is. He's going to some secret island over some shady shit. but she doesn't understand, like, he's being affiliated with people who work with fucking, like, literal sorcerers who are from another dimension, you know? She doesn't realize, like, he's, like, helping these people, like, take over the entire, like, Earth realm. Like, he's a bad guy, Kano. And that's how they get into the tournament. And then Johnny Cage, he's, like, getting into the tournament because he just heard about it or something. He's stupid. Liu Kang is one of the only people that knows what's actually up. But yeah, as far as like what Matt was saying about Jax's arms looked, I mean, I thought in the end they looked great, but just how he got him was just dumb.
Yeah.
It's much better if it's like, oh, I've got fucking super arms now. Like, I was upset that I got my arms blown up in the first place, but I'm feeling much better now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was kind of
like these monks who work with Raiden are gonna give him like Tai Chi and give him like crappy, rusty steampunk arms. And then through Popeye's spinach, through some kind of like metachlorians or something, they just magically turn into more metal. It's just silly.
Yeah, no, that should have definitely been like some U.S. government super soldier intervention versus fucking.
Yeah, sure. Right. Yeah, like the U.S. Special Forces get Jax back and they fucking give him metal arms. Yeah. Why couldn't the military have some secret program like that? That works. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Kano, his eye, it's like he did it himself because he's a sick bastard, you know? He fucking, you know? I like the Colossus style from MK2, Matt says. Yeah, he had the bands. They were like metal bands. It's perfect. Because that's really how you'd want your metal arms to look, because the way that your arms move, you know, they twist and rotate and bend. So they need to be broken up in lots of little sections and rings. Anyway. But as far as like other things about the new movie, like Sonya, I feel like she was a hot babe for sure, but I don't know. I feel like she grew on me. I feel like I didn't like her as much at first, but by the end of the movie, I was all for her. She kind of grew on me. I liked her. Probably one of the few people I wouldn't mind keeping. Jax probably could have afforded to be like like an extra 50 pounds or 6 feet, 6 inches taller. Because Jax is like a heavy. Jax would be like a huge guy.
Yeah.
And you know, this actor was pretty big, not gonna lie. But you know, we're talking about great casting here. And Scorpion, he's a little old. He was a little old, but I mean, I get it. When he wears the mask, the stunt devil can be whoever the fuck he wants. But I don't like how we tried to make Scorpion like this tragic hero character. Scorpion is a bad guy. He works for Quan Chi. He works for Shang Tsung. He works for evil people, just like Kano does. You've got warriors of light and warriors of darkness. It's like The Stand, but like a fighting tournament, you know? It's cool. I don't know. I feel like a lot of wasted potential with the movie. Like I said, trying to make everything a cinematic universe. It's like, why don't you just make one epic Mortal Kombat movie that we're never going to forget? And we'd be fine with maybe one other sequel like 3 years down the line, if that. You know, like just make a fucking great Mortal Kombat movie. Like make it like 2 hours long and try to get a good chunk of like, you know, characters in there. Do 1 and 2 together as one movie, or do the whole first tournament as one movie. I don't know. Let's watch like a fighting chain. Let's watch an actual tournament as we watch this cast of characters like thin out as they start like, you know, climbing the ladder to who's going to be the winner, you know? Fucking, what was the Mortal Kombat? What was the Bruce Lee movie? Game of Death. Motherfucker, that's what the game is based off of. Game of Death. Right?
Yeah, with brutality and fatalities and flawless victories.
Yeah, I mean, really, that was the one thing that made Mortal Kombat the international phenomenon was fatalities. The idea of a finishing move and it's bloody. The idea that you kill your opponent. You don't KO your opponent like in Pussy Street Fighter. This is a fight to the death. That's what the K in combat stands for. It stands for kill. And, you know, I could see why parents were alarmed with that, you know? Like I said, this game created the rating system. This is the reason why video games had a rating system, because Mortal Kombat.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Mortal Kombat 2, I think, was the first game to have a rating on it because Mortal Kombat, was it Mortal Kombat 2 or 3? But yeah, what was it? MA, right? Rated MA for mature. M for mature.
Yeah, because they're ripping each other's fucking spines out and shit.
Yeah, what were some of the other really good fatalities? I remember Reptile. He was one of my favorite characters, like aesthetically. The green ninja, and he just looks like a ninja to like look like other ninjas. Like he just likes the way Sub-Zero and Scorpion look. So yeah, fuck it, I'll just look like a ninja. I'm a goddamn reptile person though. And what does he do? He like either takes his tongue out, pulls your head off, and fucking swallows it whole, or he like vomits acid all over your body. Oh, like melts you. So now, what were some of your favorites? Yeah.
Oh man, definitely the spine rippings were really good. Definitely the spine rippings were the most memorable, where they like pull out like the skull and the spine.
Yeah, well, that's Predator. It's inspired from Predator and Sub-Zero. Yeah, the idea is like I mean, think about this. He doesn't even put his other hand on you. He grabs your hand and grabs the top of your head with one hand, and with such force yanks your head off. And not only that, but the whole spine comes out attached like pulling out a, what am I thinking of? Pulling out a fishbone or something. You know what I mean? Like, ew. And then it's all dangling. Your head would still be alive. Or what was the
I think Goro would like rip people apart, or maybe like he did like a clap and their head would explode.
Yeah, Jax would do that. Jax got his middle hands and he would just like thunderclap your head and it would explode. He did that in the movie too, and that was cool. Reptile in the movie was cool, except for the fact that he was murdered. And but yeah, he's one of the characters that they could be disposable. But yeah, a lot of acidy vomit, a lot of invisibility, camouflage, like that stuff is cool. I liked Scorpion, obviously. I like his fatality. Started out so ridiculous. Like he'd take his human face off and his mask, and he'd have a skeleton Ghost Rider, totally Ghost Rider head, and then he just fucking breathe fire on you like a dragon. And it made no sense at all. And it was so cool.
But it killed Sub-Zero.
Yeah, but then the other ways he finishes you are way more down to earth. Like he just basically cuts you in half with a sword, or cuts your head off with a sword. I think there was a good fatality where he like sent you to hell. He like sent you to hell. That's right. Yeah. Ew. He wraps his harpoon. He stabs you in the neck with a harpoon, wraps it around your neck, opens a portal to the nether realm, kicks you in it, and then the other end of the portal comes up on the ceiling, and then your dead, skinned body, still tied to the chain, just drops down and hangs down in front of him. It's so graphic. It's like, Jesus. Like I said, the new games were awful. Kung Lao, he would fucking drop the hat. He did that in the movie too. That was great. Yeah, he did do that one where he drops the hat into the floor and it works like a fucking like a saw, table saw. And he just pulls like you across it. But see, in that one, yeah, she goes face first. In the game, he drags you by the legs and it's the groined up, so you're like alive all the way to the last minute. And then he fucking holds like your two severed empty ends, you know? It's so gross. Shang Tsung, he fucking just literally steals your soul. Like, that's a good one. That's one that, like, you would see that and be like, holy shit. Like, he can literally just give it to me. And, like, your whole fucking life force just comes out of your body and into his hand. You know, and you're dead. It's like, holy shit. That seemed really easy for him. You know, that seemed like he didn't have to do much. Noob Saibot was great though, because he was like two of them. He had him and his shadow, so it was always like assist kills. Like his shadow would hold one end and he would hold the other end of your leg, and they just pull tug of war style and rip you in half. Crazy shit like that. What were the other good ones? Sindel, she would scream at you so loud your head would explode.
Yeah,
Sonya had like drones that would fucking blow you up, and Jax crushed your head, ripped your arms off. What else? What were some other great ones? I don't even remember. Cabal. That's when they started getting silly, you know, like, oh yeah, Melina. She just literally ate your face. Like literally just like took her mask off, had oh dude, we didn't even get to talk about Baraka, but yeah, Baraka with huge fucking knives.
That fucking those crazy knife things that come out of his fucking arms, dude. That guy
And
was
his big demon face.
Yeah.
Again, it's like take Wolverine plus like your standard like vampire demon, you know, yeah. You gotta have like a bladed character, you know. Wolverine, Vega, who are the other ones? But yeah, Baraka, he
Bruce
just like
Willis.
cut your head off. Dude, Liu Kang, like he would turn into a dragon and eat you. Like that's cool. All right.
That did happen.
Johnny Cage would punch your head off. That's a good one. Just uppercut you so hard your head knocks off your body, spins around. Obviously Johnny Cage's groin punch. That was like a huge deal in the first game and all the subsequent games. That's like his signature move. It's not that he just punches you in the balls. It's the fact that he does the splits and punches you in the balls like Jean-Claude Van Damme style.
I think I'm losing you in the Matrix, bro.
I think so. Oh well. It's okay. We only got like 3.5 minutes. We'll wrap it up. But yeah. Huh. I'm just like worried about these sequels now because it's like, you know, it's like I don't care about Shang Tsung. Just recast everyone. Let's recast everyone and just start with Mortal Kombat, the movie, and it's the tournament. It's the beginning of the tournament. We got Johnny Cage and Liu Kang, and Cole can enter the tournament, and Goro comes back from the dead, and he kills Cole in the beginning of the movie, and then the actual movie starts, and we have the regular. We can just do it like how
Baraka and Zombie. Yeah, you have Zombie Goro, dude.
Not even Zombie Goro, just like literally like resurrected Goro, like Jesus Christ Goro, like Shang Tsung, you necromancer. Yeah, and you know I really liked Raiden too. I wish Raiden was elevated to more than something than just like this benevolent like overseer character, you know. This like protector.
What if Guy Fieri was a Mortal Kombat character?
You get lost in the sauce. He just throws hot sauce in your face. Ah, like yeah. His fatality movie would he would just like barbecue, would just cook you and eat you.
Just eat you.
Like, he would just put you on a spit and just like roast you like one of those pigs. And then just like carve a big hunk out of your ass and eat it and have it all juicing down his face and be like, Flavor Town. And you're like roasted corpse is like on a spit with like an apple in your mouth and shit. Yeah. You would make your own sauce. That's the cool thing about cooking you is like you would make your own gravy, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's like the best about like slow cooking pork. Damn, dude, I was watching Dinners and Drive-Ins and what's it called? Diners and Drive-Ins. Dives and Drive-Ins or
Diners or some shit. It's Triple D. That's all I know.
Yeah. I was watching that today along with Chopped and Gunsmoke. Well, we watched a little bit of Gunsmoke, and then my grandma took a nap, and then we were hanging out at my Helen's house, and we watched DDD, Chopped, and then a bunch of Hoarders. But yeah, Dives, Drive-Ins, and Diners, Drive-Ins, and whatever it's called. Guy Fieri is a sick pig, and it's like he reminds me of that Man versus Food guy, except he doesn't have this like obligation to like kill himself with food. He just like shows up and like tries what he wants. And he's like, "Oh, that's delicious. I'm out of here." I feel sorry for the Man versus Food guy, especially the new one.
Yeah.
The new guy kind of sucks. Like The new guy on Man vs. Food like constantly loses. Like I don't think I've ever seen him win. You know, I think his specialty is like sweets. Like he'll win if he's eating ice cream and shit. Are you back?
Gross.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, these damn lousy hotels and their shitty internet. All right. Well, Max is getting lost in the sauce himself. So we might be calling it a night, folks. But it's been cool that you watch me prattle on about Mortal Kombat for a while. Unfortunately, I know a lot about it. Max, are you here? Let's go ahead and let's see here. Look at this guy. Purple rain. Purple rain. Purple rain. Purple rain. Purple rain. Purple rain. I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. I only want one time to see you laughing. I only wanted to see you laughing in the purple rain. Anyway, what was I saying? Guy Fieri, that fat bastard. Yeah, unlike the guy from Man vs. Food, like he doesn't have to eat a shit ton of food if he doesn't want to. The poor Man vs. Food guy, like every time like they bring him one of these giant challenge meals, like, you know, they flew him all the way out to Alaska and he's got to eat like 30 pounds of like crab or some shit. And it's like, that sounds good. But you have to understand, just last week they did the same thing. He had to eat like a 10-foot chili dog. And then the week before that, he was in Cincinnati and had to eat a 30-inch pizza, you know? Then the week before that, he was in Miami and he ate the spiciest burrito in the entire state of Florida. You know what I mean? Like that poor bastard. Guy Fieri just shows up. He's like, hey, let me try all your food for free. We got a camera and we'll show you on TLC. Hey, thanks, Food Network. Fried macaroni balls, delicious. Bacon wrapped armadillo eggs. What did he eat today? It was a what did he show me? What were we watching? It was a fucking I can't even remember because we were watching like 3 episodes of Hoarders, and that's all I remember. Hoarders and Dr. Pimple Popper. If you can get down with that stuff, then yeah, we're compatible. We can hang. If you can watch like Dr. Pimple Popper or Hoarders ad nauseum and not only have it not bother you, but like want more, then yeah, you are my people. And if you're not, that's totally understandable because those shows are disgusting and horrifying. It's like when people don't like horror movies, it's like, oh, okay, well, I do. So, but that is one of the things about Mortal Kombat. I think that's the appeal, is the fact that it's like adventure horror. It's not just adventure. It's like there's horror elements in it. There's ghosts and demons and soul stealing and people getting sawed in half and tortured and murdered and thrown off cliffs into spikes. There's people being possessed and turned against each other. Siblings killing each other. Children killing their own parents. Fucking what else is in this crazy fucked up games? Criminals, drug dealers, weapons, arms dealers. This game is for mature audiences, but it's got like magic and shit in it. It's cool. And, you know, it's like Game of Thrones. Come on, man. It's like you see the appeal to this. And this is why I think people need to be more understanding of violence in media. It's not to, I mean, yeah, it is glorification, but it's not, I don't know. I guess in Mortal Kombat, it is straight glorification. It just depends on the movie. Saving Private Ryan, it's super violent because, it's visceral and traumatizing. And in Mortal Kombat, it's violent and it's fun. It's just like RoboCop. It's like there's some sick appeal to it that we all love or secretly love. Like, here's the thing. If you're going to take someone like a date, like a young lady, to see a movie, I can tell you right now, like, if you go watch the Heartthrob movie that's rated PG-13, where everyone gets along and it has a happy ending where the guy gets the girl and a nice popcorn movie, you're going to have a good date. But if you take that date, that young lady, to a violent, visceral movie, like a gangster movie or like something like RoboCop or Dread, that Dread movie from a few years back, I was saying that versus Looper. Like, those movies came out around the same time. If you took a girl to see Looper with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, she would like it. You'd have a nice date. If you took her to see Dread, she wouldn't. I mean, she might say she liked it as much, but I tell you right now, you're probably going to have sex after you watch Dread. Even if she didn't like the movie, even if she thought it was too violent and she wouldn't watch it again, there's something so, like, stimulating about that stuff. And it's not the fact that it's violence. It's the fact that it's pretend violence. It's a movie. It's entertainment. There's something forbidden about it, which is something about the appeal of the sexualization of everybody in these games too. Like, everyone's dressed all sexy. Fucking Johnny Cage is literally just wearing fucking spandex. He's got his, he's like wearing just spandex and no shirt. Melina is dressed like a stripper. Like, there's something cool about it. It's not, yes, it's childish. It adds to the appeal. I mean, we got to stop acting like the fact that Melina and Katana are dressed sexy is like a bad thing. It's like, yeah, it's a bad thing. So is like sawing people in half. Like, so is cutting people's heads off with swords. That's also bad. This is a bad game. It's naughty. It's adult entertainment and it's adult escapism, because like I said, like, imagine if Big Trouble in Little China was 10 times as crazy and rated hard R, like, that's the other thing. If you're going to make a Mortal Kombat movie, why don't you throw a fucking sex scene in there? Have Liu Kang literally fuck Katana in a scene. Like, have a sex scene like in old 80s and 90s movies. They all had sex scenes. I was watching, what was it? It was great. Come True. I watched that yesterday. It was awesome. It was a good, spooky sci-fi horror movie with a nice, like, open to interpretation. It's about dreams and stuff. But there was a sex scene at the end towards, in the movie. And I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, I haven't seen one of these in a while in a movie with like people thrusting to like music in a blue lit room in slow motion. It was good. What else did I watch that was good? Nobody. Bob Odenkirk as John Wick. That was also very good. I liked it. There are good movies getting released. Unfortunately, the ones that are all going to HBO Max, I guess the only one I'm really excited about is Dune. Dune's coming. That'll hopefully be good. But I know the people who made Dune don't want it to be released on HBO Max, and they might get their way. But there's been a contract written, so I don't know if they can back out of it. But I know that Denis Villeneuve, the guy who made Dune, he's pretty upset about this HBO Max deal with Warner Brothers, and he does not want that movie being released, on HBO Max congruently with theaters. He wants that movie to be in theaters only. But Dune's one of the only ones I'm really excited about that's coming on HBO Max. But yeah, King Kong vs. Godzilla was better than Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat was not good. I enjoyed watching it. I'll probably watch it again one more time to kind of grasp how bad it was, because it was bad. And like I said, if you're new to Mortal Kombat, I'm sure you liked it. I'm sure you thought the movie was just fine. But if you are one of the people who's played lots of the games and read up on the lore and you've seen, I would recommend watching Mortal Kombat 9, the playthrough on YouTube, for a good rundown of the all-encompassing story. And then also watch that Scorpion's Revenge animated movie. Like, if you want a Scorpion-driven movie, like that's the one. They already did it. So why, Scorpion, like I said, he shouldn't be the climax of the movie. Goro shouldn't be some easily dispatched henchman who is killed before the tournament even begins. Sub-Zero was good. Kano was good. Reptile was good. The jokes were good. I don't remember too many off the top of my head. I liked when Kano kept making fun of Kung Lo's hat tricks. I mean, power could be something shit, like having a magic hat. No offense, right? Like all that stuff was good. Anyway, I guess 3 hours, 10 minutes. I think that's good. I think we've said all we wanted to say about Mortal Kombat. If you liked the movie, good. If you didn't, I feel you. If you think I'm stupid for talking about this for so long, I also feel you. That makes sense too. All right. I guess we had a good rant watching me talk about this, my thoughts on it. What were some other big issues? I feel like there were some more. Every time I end these, I'm like realize like, oh, I totally forgot this huge thing I was supposed to mention. And I can't think of it right now. Fucking whoops.